client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's.
The Parkinson's Foundation knows that the disease doesn't just affect the diagnosed. It affects everyone who supports and helps care for them.
If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers.
We can help you understand the disease
and give you tips for living a better life.
Find your answers at parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636. The Parkinson's Foundation. Better lives together.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
Huge savings on Dell AI PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors are here, and they're newly designed to help you do more faster. They can generate code, edit images, multitask without lag, draft emails, summarize documents, create live translations, and even extend your battery life. That's the power of Dell AI with Intel Inside. Upgrade today by visiting Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. What a pretty afternoon. A little breezy, but not quite as windy as yesterday. Northeast winds gusting to about 15 to 20. 72 this afternoon. Nice drop in our humidity. Just beautiful to be outside. It'll be another crisp start to the day tomorrow as temperatures dip into the low 50s and partly cloudy tomorrow and mild with temperatures in the mid 70s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 114 points to 46,555.
Now Carolina gets a shot through and they'll score. Giovanni Smith off the faceoff. Smith powered his way and hammered that one through the crease. It'll come back for Nikishin at the left point. Alexander Nikishin wires and scores. A low shot to the blocker's side, and Alexander Nikishin has tied this game at 2. Carolina will come up with it. Robida spin shoots and scores! Justin Robida gets to the loose puck and hammers it past Black. We're tied at 3.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. On a Thursday, I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. It is the beginning of the 5-day football weekend, right? There's Thursday night football and then big football games, high school, college, pros for the next 5 days. There's the NHL getting started, contracts being signed every day. We're hearing about injury news in the NHL. There's Major League Baseball playoffs going on. So, of course, our big 3 at 3 will start with college basketball. Number 1. Jon Scheyer, contract extension with the Duke Blue Devils. First saw it from ESPN's Pete Thamel and Jeff Borzello. Duke has agreed to a new 6-year deal with men's basketball coach Jon Scheyer, which gives him an additional 2 years to what he was already tied to the program. The deal will take him through the 2030-2031 season as the head coach of the Duke basketball team. This is good business. It's news. Don't get me wrong. It's noteworthy, but it is expected, and it is good business. Different publications have pointed out a whole bunch of different statistics and records and things that make it obvious as to why you would want to keep Jon Scheyer as the head coach of your program if you're Duke. Things like 89 wins over his first 3 seasons as a head coach.
Not bad.
Matches the best mark in Division I history.
Also not bad.
And he's number 1 in the non-Brad division. The 2 he's tied with are Brad Underwood and Brad Stevens. So in the non-Brad division, he's at the top by himself. Duke ranks behind only UConn and Houston in wins of any coach, of any program over the last 3 seasons. So since Jon Scheyer has taken over, only UConn and Houston have more wins over that time period. Obviously, Duke reached the Final Four last year. That's pretty good. I know they collapsed once they got there, but getting there was pretty good. And then for a sustainable standpoint, for like looking at things you can repeat, in 3 of the last 4 recruiting cycles, he's landed the number 1 rated recruiting class. He's also the only head coach in ACC history to win 2 conference titles in his first 3 seasons. Talk about the tourney. So there's statistical reasons, there's factual, there's record reasons why it's smart. Here's what I focus on. I think the most encouraging thing for Duke to be willing to commit to him for 6 years, right, and continuously add on those last couple of years to keep that long-term nature of the contract is the obvious improvement. I don't think Jon Scheyer took over as a head coach at Duke as the perfect coach. I don't think there exists a perfect coach, but I don't think he was near polished, right? He had never been a head coach before. And there are things that pop out where you're like, ooh, I bet you he wishes he would have done that differently. Or, oh, probably has to learn there. And the best news is year over year, he has kind of fixed those things, right? And the one that I've always pointed to, just because I think it's an easy one to use as an example, is I think his recruiting has gotten more social, right? Where it used to just be, I'm going to go watch tape, basketball, analytics, get the 5 best players. I'm going to get the best point guard, the best shooting guard. And then I think he learned, whether it was conscious or subconscious, you know what? I don't just need the best players. I need a variety of personalities. I need a guy who's recklessly competitive, killer instinct. I need a guy who's recklessly calm. I need a guy who's 3-and-D and wants to shoot, and I need a guy who's old school. Like you need a little bit of everything, and I think he's done better with that each recruiting class, even keeping the super high recruiting rankings. And that's just one example, right, of where I think he's better now than he was 3 years ago. And once you see that development, you can project forward and go, well, if he's better now than he was, he'll be better 3 years from now, better 6 years. Yeah, let's sign him to a 6-year extension. See what happens. There will be a point when you're coaching Duke where, national championships need to be won or, a tremendous amount of Final Four appearances need to be achieved. He's not there or near there yet. He's been coaching for 3 years. Individual seasons expectations are high, but there's no reason to worry about, he hasn't won a national championship yet, which I know some people want to do. That's number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
Loaded Saturday in college football for the area. I think it's fortunate. I think it's nice that the scheduling has been varied up to this point. There's been Thursday games. There's been Monday games. There's been Friday games. There's been bye weeks. There's been a little bit of everything going on. This is kind of the first one where it's just everybody's on Saturday. You have Saturday at noon, Clemson at UNC. You have Saturday at 1, Wake at Virginia Tech. You have Saturday at 2, State hosts Campbell. You have Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, Duke at Cal. So there's rapid-fire games, a nice little break for dinner, and then you stay up late and watch Duke at Cal.
Pac-10 after dark.
Yeah, old school.
Exactly, old school, Pac-10.
Duke going on the road to Pac-10 opponent Cal. Who also happens to be an ACC opponent. Don't ask me how. There's on the surface, I would understand if you're like, why are you excited? These games are meh. There are wildly interesting narrative storylines in all of these games. All of these games. We're going to talk Clemson UNC in a second. Matter of fact, we'll do that about 3:15. So I'll keep you just a little hesitant, just a little anticipatory about what the big storyline is for Clemson at UNC. Wake at Virginia Tech. Wake is trying to prove they're plucky. Virginia Tech is, I don't know, trying to get their interim head coach a job. Just beat NC State. Now it's all of a sudden like, all right, nobody's going to overlook you anymore. Right? If you think that's what State did, oh, they're a team that just fired their coach. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, Wake can't do that because they just watched them beat North Carolina State, who beat Wake. NC State hosts Campbell. I'll say this a few times throughout the show. I don't know if this is fortunate or unfortunate. It's a no-win situation for State. There's very little to gain against Campbell, other than putting, I guess, more time between you and a couple of tough losses that you just suffered. If you beat Campbell by 100, everybody goes, "Woo, you beat Campbell by 100."
It's like, yeah, you're supposed to, right?
And if it's close, panic alarms, right? Sirens. And if you lose, the headhunt and the pitchforks and all the metaphorical stuff goes pretty crazy. Yeah, a lot of that going on. A lot of beep, 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 beep. And then Duke at Cal. Duke is we talked about this. The Syracuse game had to be the get-in-rhythm game because if Duke is going to reach the expectations that many of us had for them at the beginning of the year, right? If they're going to get anywhere near what we thought they were capable of, a game at Cal is a really weird one, but you got to win it, right? Because Cal is underwhelming talent-wise, although I do like their quarterback. But it's a weird one because you're on the West Coast and it's super late and everything else that's kind of strange about it. You need to overcome all of that and win. We'll dive into each, obviously more tomorrow, but just the look ahead from Thursday to an awesome Saturday, I couldn't resist but to whet your whistle with it. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
We have elimination baseball today.
Yeah, starting right now, actually.
We have obviously there's the game that's going on right now, which I believe the early game is Tigers-Guardians.
That's correct.
But it's elimination baseball all night. There's the game that just started. They're probably first batter, right? It was
3 pitches in.
Okay, perfect. Padres-Cubs, 5 o'clock, and then Red Sox-Yankees elimination postseason baseball tonight.
Love it.
All of these are I don't care if you don't even know the teams. I don't care if you don't speak the language. If you put professional MLB teams onto a field and say one of you is advancing to the next round, one of you is not, and this game will decide it, it's the pressure in baseball is unlike anything else. The pressure in baseball in these moments is unlike anything else. It's why it is the most fun to play imaginary in the backyard. Right? It's the most fun. 3-2. Bases loaded. Down by 2. And Tim Donnelly comes to the plate. Right? Like that's what we all did as kids. And it's because that exists in every single pitch in a game like this. You have the heightened moment, right? Every single pitch. You never know which one's going to change everything. And because of that, it's really, really fun to watch. Especially if you have a rooting interest. But even if you don't, you just feel for them. My parents, specifically my mom, because they've been parents of a quarterback in college, my mom cannot watch sports without thinking of the parents of each athlete. Every single – like if there's a kicker going out there for a game-winning kick, my mom can't help but say, oh, I just feel for their parents, right? Because if it goes in or it doesn't go in is going to decide if their son is joyous or shamed. And I think of that. I think of what my mom's reaction would be watching these baseball games so much, right? You come to the plate, guy on first. You hit into the double play. The parents of that grounder hitter is like, oh no, that was his chance, right? Because as many Aaron Judges as there are that are like established legacy wise, there's a lot of guys out there that can make or break their careers, right? A playoff big hit. That's the stuff that dreams are made of. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the big 3 at 3. Dennis, you promised to keep us updated on anything crazy that happens in Major League Baseball while the show goes on.
I will, absolutely.
I don't know if I'll be able to double watch. I'll try. And if you hear me just break out in screaming in the middle, it's probably either I tore a hamstring or which happens to me occasionally, or
I've witnessed that.
Or Major League Baseball did something crazy. Tigers Guardians still very, very early in that one going on right now. We'll take a break. When we come back. UNC Clemson, I promised the storylines. In that one, there's one very, very big shared storyline between UNC and Clemson going into this one. I'll tell you what it is next.
Hey, it's Brian from McDonald's. And if you're like me, you're a don't talk to me until I get my cup of coffee person. Sarah knows that very well. That's why I treat myself to McDonald's. And right now, you can grab any sized iced coffee for just $1. Maybe you need something extra. Go for a hot or iced mocha, latte, or macchiato for $2. And if you're really feeling fancy, for $3, you can get a caramel or mocha frappe. Easy as 1, 2, 3. $1, $2, $3. Any size, every morning, during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Tim, I'm receiving an important update.
Ooh, are you getting night vision?
No, I just found out you could get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender.
So, no night vision?
No night vision.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/auto loans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loan must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
The 25th Anniversary SAS Championship tees off October 10th through 12th at the Prestonwood Country Club. See golf's greatest, Ernie Els, Bernard Longer, Colin Montgomery, and more battle it out right here in the Triangle. This year's celebration is bigger than ever with fireworks after Food Truck Friday and exciting action from the legends all weekend long. Don't miss golf, food, family fun, and 25 years of memories. Get tickets today at saschampionship.com. Proceeds benefit the YMCA of the Triangle.
When you're in the outhouse, everything stinks, right? When you're in the penthouse, you still got a pile of crap on the floor, but you just don't notice it, right? Like, it just magnifies things. And we it's on us. That's our job. That's what we get paid to do, is to bring out the best in our players. And we haven't done that.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. UNC hosting Clemson. Noon on a Saturday. That's what's happening this weekend. That's the nuts and bolts of it, right? Is this the type of game that anyone anticipated when you saw at this point in the schedule that Bill Belichick's Tar Heels will be hosting Dabo Swinney's, at the time, top 10 ranked Clemson Tigers at the beginning of the year? This was one of the premier ACC matchups. It was the first ACC matchup for Bill Belichick.
And a lot of people were talking early in the season, man, especially when UNC played TCU. Man, if they get a win here against TCU and they beat Charlotte, they beat Richmond, College game day coming here to Chapel Hill, like a lot of people were anticipating that a month ago. They really were.
Even if they lost to TCU, if they then beat Richmond handily, beat Charlotte handily, and then beat UCF by a couple scores.
Yeah, 3-1.
3-1, because it was assumed that Clemson was going to be one of the top teams in the country at this point.
Yeah.
Even if they lost their opener by a little bit, it was assumed that they were going to be, a top 10 program. Since then, about none of that has gone the way we thought. And because of that, this is the panic bowl. It is the how do your fans, how miserable do your fans make your head coach's life bowl? Like, that's what's on the line in this game. And it's in different ways because, and Dennis, you can correct me on this, but in my interactions with Tar Heel fans, both online, in person, of all varieties here in the Triangle, I think Carolina fans are outside of the super diehards, right? Outside of the ones that'll pay attention no matter what, they're teetering on fan apathy.
Oh, yeah.
They're teetering on, well, I guess this Belichick thing didn't work. I no longer have to carve out time on my Saturdays.
Trust me, we see the comments going, hey, you know what? I guess we traded in bad for worse. So why am I going to give my time?
And there's the is it almost basketball season questions, and they're teetering on fan apathy. They're the I don't care, right? And it's almost because Bill Belichick is who he is, and his theories about sports are what they are. Right, the saying is be good or be interesting. He's not going to be interesting because he doesn't want to let anybody into, right? So while his personal life may be interesting, I don't think UNC fans are, super thirsting for another tabloid story. He's not going to let you in on the inner workings of the team or how they're going to fix things, right? We've been talking about it. He went on Tar Heel Live, did the coaches show this week, and Brian Murphy, the WRAL investigative reporter, pointed it out first. I saw it on Twitter. In Bill Belichick's part of the conversation, they didn't mention Gio Lopez or Max Johnson. That's the quarterback competition. If there is a competition, that's the who's the starter, how healthy is Gio. That's the juicy. That's the stuff. Didn't even touch on it. So if it's be good or be interesting, they don't appear to be good right now, and they're doing everything they can to not be interesting. So if you don't beat Clemson, there's going to be a decent amount of all right. I got my hopes up, but all right, we're going to move on. How's Seth Trimble looking? And then Clemson is teetering on the opposite. Clemson feels like they're one loss away, one unexpected loss away from an all-out battle between Dabo Swinney and anyone that cheers on Clemson, which I don't know how they got there. Dabo Swinney has 2 national championships. He coached arguably one of the top 3 or 4 best teams in the history of college football for Clemson. Right? I believe they went first team to go 15-0. And now every time they're in a post-game presser, Dabo is just combative. He's just, every question he's taking as an insult, and he's fighting back. So do you know what this game screams to me? Win one for your coach. Win one for UNC by any means necessary. Play well for your coach by any means necessary. For Clemson, win by 2 or 3 scores for your coach. That's what Clemson is thinking. Make it so they can have a relaxing, fun. Let Dabo get back to the folksy charm in the post-game presser. Let Bill Belichick get back to do your job. Like, they just, give them a week off from the nonsense, which makes it even more interesting because think of these. You can't get 2 more different coaches at the college level. As far as if you're just, you ready for a movie reference that I guarantee you weren't expecting, Dennis?
Okay.
Major League 3, back to the minors.
Okay. Was not. We're going to go on.
I remember I was sick as a kid, had the flu, whatever, elementary school, and my mom came back from the grocery store with a VHS of Major League 3, back to the minors, and that became we're going to watch this one again. But there's a clip where Gus Cantrell in the movie, who's the manager of a baseball team, gives one of the, I think, and at the time I thought it was hilarious, funnier pregame speeches of all time, where he's like, I'm not going to tell you to win one for your teammates. I'm not going to tell you to win one for your legacy or to represent your family. I'm simply asking you to win one for me. And the manager is basically just asking a favor of his players, like, hey, go out there, win this game because I asked you to. Win one for the old skipper. If Bill Belichick did that to UNC and Dabo Swinney did that to Clemson, just, hey, listen, we work hard. I know all of you have aspirations to go on and play at the next level. You want to win championships. For this one, I just want you to win one for me. I want me to not have to answer hard, difficult, awkward questions and get mad at the media for a week. Can you all just do that for me? Dabo is a guy that's been at the program forever. He's got former players that swear by his tactics all over the NFL. When we talked with Cade Klubnik at ACC Kickoff, could not speak higher of Dabo Swinney. UNC, Bill Belichick's been there, 9 months?
Yeah,
some of
literally.
Some of the players have been there significantly less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Has he built the type of relationship to do hey, win one for me, will you? They'll be like, oh, sure. And you are your coach? Oh, right. Okay, yeah, we're together. We're hanging out now. Neither team is making a run to the ACC championship. You know what I mean?
I guess mathematically UNC can still make a run, but realistically,
that's a different.
Realistically, though, let's be honest.
It's about showing everyone that the culture is strong enough to steer the ship back towards where you're supposed to be going. And that is something that coaches can point to. Matter of fact, in our market, right, how many times has that been the defense of Dave Doran? Things went haywire there early, but he was the guy to get them back on track, and they finished with a strong 6-game stretch, and that was the proof of how he returns and how he gets more investment. Well, which of these teams is going to do that for their coach? And it could start this weekend. It's on Saturday at noon in Kenan Stadium.
Well, I have a question for you in this, Tim, because I think you laid it out well in the sense of both of these programs can silence a lot of criticism right now by getting a win. But we also know on the other side, the team that takes a loss, the noise is only going to get even louder. Which program can handle the noise better right now?
It'd be hard to say anything other than Clemson. Although there is I don't know why I said it 3 times. I turned into like, all right. Although, I do think there is a built-in excuse for first-year coaches.
That's why I was thinking UNC.
I think it's really hard. Actually, no. I've talked myself into it.
Yeah.
UNC can handle it better. And it's crazy how this happens. There is a growing sentiment that the game has passed Dabo Swinney by. That his stubbornness and when it comes to the portal or NIL or whatever it is has allowed other teams to pass Clemson, which, whether it's true or not, that's like a heinous allegation, right? They were so far ahead of everyone in the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
To, through your own stubbornness, whether it's true or not, have the perception be that you allowed teams to catch and pass, that is like you were really asleep at the wheel stuff. And maybe that's what Dabo's feeling, and that's why he's lashing out at the media. I do think, and this was exceptionally clear during the media availability and the clips we've been playing all week from Lombardi and Belichick, you can distance yourself from a bad first year by saying, this year was about setting the culture. This year was hampered by the fact that we had to turn everything over and put in our structures. Next year is when it all comes together. And you could even say, as they did, I believe Michael Lombardi said it, recruits are actually more receptive now because they want to play right away, and they see there's very few jobs that are etched in stone right now with the Tar Heels the way they're playing. So I am wildly surprised that is my answer. But I actually think Clemson, and I think Clemson is still the better team than UNC, so a loss to UNC would be like more of what's not supposed to happen. I think if UNC plays well, lose to Clemson by 1, that's actually seen as like progress. Where if Clemson loses by an inch or a mile, Dabo is going to be up there for 45 minutes just ranting and raving about whatever comes to his mind. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next, which should be a fun one. But before we do that, Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I'm proud to say that I'm down 40 pounds in the last 2 months, 9 weeks, I should say. Thanks to the program over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. That's being serious. I've lost 40 pounds in 9 weeks thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And one of the things that I appreciate about Raleigh Weight Loss Center is that not only do they want to help me reach that goal weight, they actually want to help me maintain that weight as well. I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to fad diets and things along those lines, is that they might lose a bunch of weight right away, but they don't know how to actually keep it there. And a lot of these fad diets aren't designed to actually help you maintain that weight. The goal at Raleigh Weight Loss Center is to not only reach that target weight, but help you maintain that as well. They actually have the whole part of the program is called the maintenance phase. And I'm actually about to hopefully enter that maintenance phase here real soon. And they laid it out. Hey, Dennis, this is what you got to do the first 3 days, the first week, the first 2 weeks, the first month, the first 2 months to help you keep the weight where it's at. Give them a call at 919-897-7506 or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute consultation. I'll say it again, a free 15-minute consultation. You have questions, you have concerns. Do you want to figure out if it's the right thing for you? Use that free consultation, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. I'm living, breathing, walking proof that this program can work. I've lost 13% of my body weight, and Raleigh Weight Loss Center has helped thousands of people do that exact same thing. RaleighWeightLossCenter.com, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next, and there's something special for the NC State basketball team in there. Stick around.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's Bo time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's Bo time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bo time.
I'm glad you agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.
But you are a date, and first is in your name.
Yeah, I guess I've just been married to my work, you know? Spreading the news about new scratch-offs coming out every first Tuesday.
New scratch-offs release every first Tuesday?
Wait, you don't know about new scratch-off tickets that come out the Okay. Well, okay. You got me.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Don't miss Bailey's Fall Antique and Vintage Jewelry Show October 7th through 11th. Search through hundreds of vintage necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings, and more to discover your unique jewelry treasure. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry on October 7th in Rocky Mount, October 8th in Greenville, October 9th in Cary, or October 10th and 11th in Raleigh's Village District to find your perfect piece of jewelry history. Visit BaileyBox.com for details.
They're going to give it to Castle. He's got a first down. He's got more. Castle into the end zone, standing up for the touchdown.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Download our app, 99.9 The Fan, Google Play Store, App Store, depending on whether you have the what type of phone you have. Either way, whichever one you do, please highly rate it or give it a high rating.
Yeah, 5 stars.
5 stars. Give it a nice review. And then the rest is all for your benefit, right? Then the app is just there. You can register, give us your name, number, email. You'll be entered to win cool things like college football tickets, signed jerseys, whatever we have up at the moment, which for the moment right now is a pair of tickets to Georgia Tech, NC State.
That's right, November 1st.
So if all you have to do is download the app and kind of fill out the little profile, and then you're in. Then you're entered to win. And if you've already done that, you're already in. So congrats.
Make sure you give us an email that actually you check.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's how we notify if you won.
And I'm sure there is, if you read the fine print, if we notify you and you don't hear from you for a certain amount of time, then it goes to the next person because we want the tickets to go to somebody that'll use them. But then once you're there, you can listen, live stream. There's YouTube connections there for podcasts and things. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff on the app. So 99.9 The Fan, look for it, download it, rate it highly, and we'll appreciate it, and then you can enjoy it. With that being said, it's time to jump into the Dean's List. As promised before the break, something kind of cool for NC State basketball. I'll just read it directly from a second reference for Murph. Brian Murphy's tweet, WRAL sports investigative reporter. NC State men's basketball sold out opener on November 3rd. So they've already sold out their season opening basketball game, which, again, here's continuing from the tweet from Murphy. is believed to be the first time the Wolfpack opener is sold out since it moved to the Lenovo Center in 1999, per the Centennial Authority, which owns the building.
That's nuts.
There's two parts there. One, it is a very large building for college basketball. Okay, so I'm not making fun of the crowds that they've had on opening night for the past, 25 years? Goodness.
I mean, it's basketball-wise, I think it seats 21,000 roughly.
And then on top of that, I assume State their home opener hasn't traditionally been, Goliath. You know what I mean? They're usually probably trying to get a win. They're bringing in a Colgate, a Presbyterian, something along those lines. Then the third part is that just shows how excited everybody is for Will Wade. Like palpable energy for the Will Wade era at NC State, where they've had big recruits come through. They've had exciting teams, but at least not since 99, have they sold out the Lenovo Center for game one. Will Wade's bringing some sizzle.
20,000
people for the opener. Who are they playing in the opener?
I look it up here real fast.
I don't know. I should have had that ahead of time. Apologize for my lack of preparation. NC State Wolfpack men's basketball schedule.
NC Central, November 3rd.
Central. All right, so there's some local. I'm sure
Yeah.
a couple of those tickets were sold to Central fans. Either way, it's pretty cool. When you're doing something that you've had the opportunity to do since 99 and haven't done, it's pretty good. We have a requirement Dean's Lister, right? We talk about when you get added to a watch list or when you're included in a watch list, you're automatically on there, and we're talking about the good watch lists, the award watch lists. You know what I meant. Hollywood Smothers, NC State running back.
Okay.
For the mid-season update to the Maxwell Award, which is one of the big ones presented to the most outstanding player, any position in college football. It's, one of the, think Heisman kind of same qualifications. He has been added to the mid-season watch list. One of a handful, I think there's like 20 that were added that weren't on the list preseason that are now on the list, 4 or 5 games in, depending on how many you've played. And then side note, Byram Brown, who is the quarterback for USF, South Florida. He is a Wake Forest native, right? Was it Wake Forest High School, Heritage High School, Rollsville High School? One of those.
Byram Brown?
Yeah.
Rollsville.
So he is a local guy, played his high school around here. He has also been added to the midseason award watch list for the Maxwell Award. So I'll put them both on the Dean's List for this week. Dennis, do you have a Dean's List you'd like to throw on here?
I do.
Let's hear it.
University of Louisville.
Louisville.
So on a recent study that came out within the past couple of weeks regarding tailgates across the United States, tailgate cities. This is put together by Smart Start. This is the website that I found it on.
Okay.
Smart Start. So they actually they had a methodology about determining best cities when it comes to tailgating. And now, granted, they also included NFL cities as a part of this as well, and also Power 4 schools. In each city, they gathered data in terms of average ticket price, average parking pass price, their records, so obviously how good the team is, stadium capacity, number of weekend home games each team has. And for each city, they also kind of collected what's the average temperature because, if it gets super hot or the weather kind of stinks, it's not the best for tailgating. So a bunch of different factors that they established in there when it comes to tailgating. Number 1 ranked team or school in the ACC, Louisville.
I would not have guessed that.
That would be Louisville, Kentucky.
I would not. I honestly, maybe this is why I wouldn't guess it. I don't think I've ever heard anything about Louisville tailgating scenes.
Neither have I. But according to their methodology, they're the best.
There are ACC schools that I've heard have not had electric tailgating scenes.
Well,
there are ACC schools that I've heard have unbelievable tailgating scenes. Louisville, I've not heard either. So I didn't anticipate them being low. But number 1.
They were actually overall number 5 across all college sports.
5
for college sports tailgating.
Wow.
Who was the worst in the ACC? Which school? UNC, Chapel Hill.
I wasn't going to say it. That is,
and Durham also.
That
right?
is something you hear.
Yeah.
It is something you hear. Maybe it's the bourbon scene. So everybody just think they're having a great time because Louisville has a certain flavor of spirit that is well connected.
One of the things they also included was number of drinking establishments in the city. The
Okay,
average
well
food
then,
and
yeah,
beverage prices.
that brings up the sliding scale for Louisville.
Yeah, well, it's also But here's the thing as well is that how close are these things to your stadium as well? Because NC State actually did rank a little bit low because outside of the stadium there isn't any of that. So they actually kind of ranked a little bit lower. So anyway,
I've done the Louisville bourbon thing. You can walk to quite a few and then all of a sudden not only are you're like looking at barrels and going, yeah, that would make it smoky. You don't know what you're saying, but they're telling you. And this one has been aged in that room for 900 years. Okay, and then they just keep giving you samples so you think it's interesting. It's a good little racket they got going on in Louisville.
believe it. So yeah, Louisville.
All right, well played. I don't know. I guess I'll have to try it out one time to see if I agree. More Dean's List. Former Duke quarterback Daniel Jones.
Oh, okay.
So Matt Verderame is a guy that I've known professionally for a while. He works for SI.com. He's a good follow. He does a lot of research. He used to be a Chiefs beat reporter. So he put out a link to an article he wrote on SI.com, which was, and this is happening all across. There's Bill Barnwell did a similar thing for ESPN, but it's the first quarter awards. So Matt Verderame, this NFL writer for Sports Illustrated, put out his first quarter of the season All-Pro. Right, so it's the All-Pro team, the best at their positions. He did first and second team. Daniel Jones is second team first quarter All-Pro in the NFL.
Let's go.
Most people expected him to be second string on his own team this year behind Anthony Richardson. He is second team All-Pro according to Matt Verderame of SI.com. The come up, the glow up has been impressive. If he can keep it up for the better part of a season, guy might get paid next offseason. All right, I have two more here. I'll do one quickly and we'll save one till tomorrow. Dean's List, a potential Tulane reunion at Duke next year. This is how you have to operate in modern college football.
Okay.
You have to be looking next step in the transfer portal. A running back by the name of Mekhi Hughes has requested a red shirt for the remainder of the 2025 season from Oregon, where he's on the roster. And Dan Lanning, their coach, has given him the okay, right? Whether he wanted to or not, whatever. The negotiations have happened. He is redshirting the rest of the year, which will obviously preserve some eligibility. And if you're reading tea leaves, there's very rare when a national contender goes, yeah, you can sit out the rest, and then you're on that team next year. Mekhi Hughes rushed for 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns last season at Tulane.
Dang.
He was a star at Tulane. He was on track to be drafted into the NFL. And then the reports are Oregon offered him a little over $700K. And he bounced to Oregon. And then he's so low on the depth chart, he wasn't even traveling to away games. Barely getting any, I guess Oregon, he showed up and they just went, we got better guys. Which if I'm Duke, I'm going, well, your old quarterback's here in Durham. And you already made your money last year. You don't need that much from us, right? We'll give you a little something, but you didn't spend all that $700,000, right? Why don't you just cozy up here in Durham, see what we can make happen? Sounds like a good pitch to me. I don't know. I'm just looking ahead. I'm trying to be 3 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah, he and Nate Shepard next year together? 1-2 punch?
Heck, bring them all back. You can't have too many running backs in college football.
I think Anderson Castle's on his 5th year, so he's going to be moving on.
Slide him right in.
There you go.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Should be an interesting one. There you go, yeah. Dismiss the Dean's List. Coming up next, we catch up with Marcus Manning, the Durham Sports Commission Executive Director, and Steve Lovell of Garmin Marathon. The Garmin Marathon Series, announced earlier today, coming to Durham, the ins and outs of how you can participate and what they're bringing to the Triangle. Coming up next on the Heister Automotive Group hotline when they join us. Don't go anywhere.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let the high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's open enrollment. Time to choose a plan that includes Wake Med, the leading provider of healthcare services in Wake County. On the exchange, choose a plan that includes Wake Med. Looking for a Medicare plan? Choose one that includes Wake Med. Got a company plan? Make sure Wake Med is in it. Learn more at wakemed.org. After all, it's your health, your choice, and you're about to make a very good decision.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan is excited to welcome a couple guests to our Heister Automotive Group hotline. We have Marcus Manning of the Durham Sports Commission, Executive Director, and Steve Lovell of Garmin, the International Associate Director of Advertising and Sponsorship. And the reason why we're talking with these two guests is the Garmin Marathon Series is coming our way. It's coming to Durham May 2nd, 2026. Registration opens today. That's October 2nd. Marcus, Steve, thank you guys for taking the time. I guess we'll start with the broadest deal here since we're doing some education for our listeners. We'll start with Steve. Steve, what is the Garmin Marathon Series?
So the Garmin Marathon Series, it's a race that has a full marathon length, half marathon, 10K, 5K. But really, while the race is the center of it, it's really just a celebration of running, a celebration of being active, and just all the community involvement that goes together not only with running, but with the community working together to accomplish great things from a physical fitness standpoint.
And then Marcus, to bring the Durham Sports Commission part of this in, this event is it's taking place different stations of it in Toledo, in Tucson. Why was it important to the Durham Sports Commission, along with many of the brands that we know super well, right? Duke University, the Durham Bulls, obviously Garmin and the Durham Sports Commission. Why was it important to bring this event to Durham?
Tim, thanks again for having us. And it was important. It was important for us. We realized the Triangle region is one of the best sports ecosystems in the country, and we know Durham is a part of that. We also know that Durham, in terms of a running ecosystem, is one of the best in the country, and we thought that this would be a perfect opportunity, a unique opportunity to bring Garmin here, associate with their brand, and when they talked about being runner-focused, we thought it'd be a perfect fit for Durham.
10,000 participants, and we're talking with Marcus Manning, Durham Sports Commission here, along with Steve Lovell from Garmin. 10,000 participants expected, 10,000 plus, I should say, for the Garmin Marathon Series. Marcus, what kind of economic impact does that have on the Triangle and in Durham specifically?
It's going to be significant. It's going to be significant. We realize that anything that we bring in will have economic impact to it. We've been doing this since 2017, supporting over 320 events and having over close to $130 million in economic impact. And so when we looked at this opportunity, we knew that the economic impact would be significant, along with the social impact as well, the health and well-being component of it when you talk about running. So we're excited about both, right? The economic impact that it's going to have, but also the social impact.
Moving towards Steve and the Garmin side of this, what type of runners participate, right? Is this where you're bringing in the super elites and they're trying to break records? Is this the casual runner, the beginner runner? What type of event is this? Who is it for?
The short answer is yes. It's all of that. So, we will definitely bring in a lot of our elite athletes. We're going to bring in a lot of social ambassadors that we'll also be just talking up Durham and the region. But this is an event. It will be a Boston qualifier. The marathon will be a Boston qualifier. So it definitely caters to, part of our core audience, which is that, dedicated runner that is trying to qualify for Boston, and this will be a great place to do that. But it's also, we want to make this a very inclusive experience and a community aspect that whether this is your first time running a 5K or even just getting out to be, do exercise, it's really for anybody and everybody in the community. We want to have you come out and join us, and it's kind of like going to the gym or going for a run. It's really hard sometimes to do by yourself because you can talk yourself out of it. But when you do it with friends, all of a sudden now it's that community aspect, and it's, there's a runner's high that you get from just all those people accomplishing, what could be their first time goal, or maybe it's their 20th event that they're running in. So it's for everybody.
Now I was forwarded over some information, obviously some talking points, and one of the things that I noticed was it's anticipated of being an annual event, or hopefully it's going to be an annual event. As somebody in the Triangle that believes and is invested heavily in the sports community, how do we make sure this is an annual event? What does Durham, or what do the listeners or the participants have to do to make sure this thing comes back?
Yeah, well, one of the things when we chose Durham, it's such an active community. I've seen so many people running, it's a healthy lifestyle here. We've also just had a great relationship working with the Sports Commission, working with Marcus, but even, we're utilizing the Durham Bulls as part of our route. We're using, we'll finish on Brooks Field at Wade Wallace Stadium at Duke. That Duke's been amazing to work with. So just everybody in the community that we've met so far has been just so welcoming to Garmin. And I'm excited for what we're going to bring to the community, not only for the local community to do, but also, this is going to be a destination event. I'm based in Garmin's headquarters in Kansas City, and the amount of people that have already told me that they want to come and work the event in Durham because this is their favorite event so far is off the charts. So I really think that it's going to be a lot of people coming to Durham, and this is what's going to help make it even grow in years to come and keep this going, hopefully for many years to come.
That voice you just heard, Steve Lovell from Garmin International. You're about to hear, I'm going to ask a question of Marcus Manning, Durham Sports Commission Executive Director. But if you're becoming interested, you're listening to this, becoming interested in the Garmin Marathon Series, it is coming May 2nd, 2026 to Durham. Registration opens today, October 2nd, so we're happy to be getting the word out. Marcus, we talked a little bit there with Steve about the route, but as somebody whose commission has been so dedicated to kind of displaying the best that Durham has to offer, what went into the route, right? You hear some of these things that are being highlighted. How special is the actual course that the marathoners will be running?
Durham was an active listener when Garmin talked about their vision. And when I say Durham, the city of Durham, Durham County, Duke, the Durham Bulls, the Durham Sports Commission, we all wanted to make sure that we were listening to Steve and his team about what could be. And we wanted to make sure not only our local running community, but our visitors that are coming to Durham could see the uniqueness and the history of Durham, and I think we accomplished it by the route that's made.
And this could go for both of you. It might lean more towards Steve. Runner first mentality is another thing, or runner centric is another thing I've seen quite a bit in how these races are described. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, Garmin is a running company, and this is really a race designed for runners by runners. And there's so many great races out there, but I've run a lot of them. And from the time that I start to the time that I finish, the only thing that people engage with me out on course are the aid stations where I'm getting my water, my Gatorade, whatnot. We want to help celebrate the runners, not just at the finish, but along the course. And so you think about that is the center of everything that we're doing. So Garmin really wants to lean into, we want the community to come out, cheer on those runners. We also want to give unique experiences to the runners that they just can't get anyplace else. Like nobody's ever finished a race, nobody's ever had a race in Durham that's gone through really even the campus of Duke, much less finish on Brooks Field at Wade Wallace Stadium. Is just going to be truly amazing. And we really are leaning into things that I call as activations, but they're really things that we're doing on course to help cheer on the runners, give them unique experiences. We've got a misting tunnel that runners will be able to run through. You're hot, you're sweaty, something to help cool you off a little bit. And that's just one of the many things that we're doing to help just bring this as a runner first and make it more inclusive for runners.
All right, we've all referenced kind of the running community in the Triangle. I'm sure there are those that through our conversation, they're hooked, they're ready to commit. So let's get some details out of the way. With registration opening, how, where, what website? Give some of the details on how they might be able to get involved and participate.
Yeah, you can go to garmin.com/marathons. You can also go to Google and just Google Garmin Marathon Durham, and it's going to come up there. You can register. Registration's open now, so you can register for any of the races. But yeah, come out and have fun with us for sure.
Marcus and Steve, we appreciate you for taking the time. Obviously, there's a decent amount of time till the race, but I know there's a lot to get to, and a lot goes into an event like this. So good luck with the preparation, and thanks once again.
Great, thanks for having us.
Once again, check it out, the Garmin Marathon Series coming to Durham in May, and a lot of information there. And I do think I've never done the long running thing. Football career left me maybe with knees and backs that aren't built for it, but my wife has, and it's always cool when like the half marathons or the marathons, there's like things to look at. Like she's done rock and roll ones, I think, where there's bands set up along the way.
Oh, okay.
And Durham having, you run past Duke and you run past the Durham Bulls and you end up on the football field. Like it helps. I would assume it helps if you're a distance runner, having a few things to get your mind off of. This side pain really stinks. Yeah. Which is basically all I think anytime I run more than a mile.
Probably breaks up some of the monotony.
Yeah, exactly. And brings people to the area. 10,000 plus participants. It's a big event. It's like a whole stadium of people running a marathon. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with football at 4 with something the Panthers need to focus on, and maybe their 6th-round rookie debut will help out. Stick around.
One last exhale. Fitting, isn't it? The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. Close quarters, tight corners, and a fan experience that brings you so close to the action, all of the mayhem will be right at your fingertips. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway, October 23rd through the 26th. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Hey, it's Brian from McDonald's. And if you're like me, you're a don't talk to me until I get my cup of coffee person. Sarah knows that very well. That's why I treat myself to McDonald's. And right now, you can grab any sized iced coffee for just $1. Maybe you need something extra? Go for a hot or iced mocha, latte, or macchiato for $2. And if you're really feeling fancy, for $3 you can get a caramel or mocha frappe. Easy as 1, 2, 3. $1, $2, $3. Any size, every morning, during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Worried about market losses? If headlines are keeping you up at night, it's time to take control. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know you've worked hard to save. But in times like these, what if can turn into what now? If you're planning to retire or are in retirement, you need a strategy that helps protect your future. At Trajan Wealth, you can capture market gains, protect your account from losses, and guarantee income for life. Right now, you could receive a bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. You heard me right. An upfront bonus of up to 30% or annual growth of up to 10%, all guaranteed to boost your lifetime income in retirement. Don't leave your future to chance. Plan with confidence. Call Trajan today, 919-200-4000. That's 919-200-4000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company, DBA, in most states, as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Ooh, pretty weather out there. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with a high of 72. A little breezy northeast wind gusting to about 15 to 20, but not as windy as yesterday. It's another crisp night tonight. We drop down to 52, and tomorrow looks beautiful as well. Gorgeous Friday, partly cloudy with highs in the mid-70s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon up 86 points to 46,527. This hour of the drive and market update brought to you by Howard Hanna Allen Tate. Ready to sell your home? Trust the #1 real estate company in the Carolinas, Howard Hanna Allen Tate. Let them show you a real estate experience that is different from all others.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I promise I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because what else are you going to do? We are getting ready, and this was planned this morning, based on comments made by Dave Canales throughout the week, to talk about the Panthers' lack of ability to match their opponents in the big play battle. It's kind of the equivalent. It's the exact opposite of the turnover battle, right? Turnover battle is the avoiding the really bad, and the big play is chasing the very good. And we were going to have that conversation, and we're going to. And we knew that going into that commercial break. We knew what we were going to talk about. And then we get an update on the injury report based on practice today, and Dennis, give the details to this one.
So Chuba Hubbard dealing with a calf injury, something he dealt with last week, was still able to play. Did not practice again for the second straight day. Also, Tershawn Wharton, who missed the second and third games of the year due to a hamstring injury that he suffered against Jacksonville, came back and played like on a snap count last week, played 31 snaps with a hamstring injury. Did not practice again for the second straight day due to a toe injury. So he didn't practice again today either. Also, nickel corner Shaw Smith-Wade chest injury is what it's listed as. Did not practice for the second straight day either. We also knew Jatavian Sanders was going to be out again this week, so he did not practice again today. But those ones are a bit concerning. But we did see Xavier Legette practice in full today. Pat Jones, who missed a couple games with a hamstring injury, practiced in full again today. So some of the guys that we saw were limited or even out in recent games are coming back, but you're kind of swapping one for the other.
So the reason why I had to chuckle is we started bringing this up. We started having this conversation about the Panthers' kind of lack of big plays and if there's a way that maybe the play calling or the mindset of the team could change to where they could hunt big plays a bit more and chase them down a bit more. And Dennis immediately got on his computer and he starts searching up longest touchdowns and big plays and this, that, and the other. And there have been 2 touchdowns this year, offense or defense, that were longer than 7 yards for the Carolina Panthers.
That's correct.
And we again, this was this morning. We had this conversation. And he goes, well, one of them was the pick 6 by Shaw Smith-Wade, which was, 13 yards?
13 yards?
13 yards.
Against Atlanta.
And then there was the week 1 touchdown reception on the swing pass up the sideline by Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, which was a 27-yard play.
So those are the only 2 touchdowns scored by a Panther this year that took more than 7 yards to get into the end zone. I'm not saying that like an 8-yard touchdown is a gigantic play, but it's, a 10, 12-yarder, like that's a big play, right? That is a explosive, whatever you want to call it. And so we were coming into this segment to talk about how the Panthers only have 2 touchdowns longer than 7 yards. That was going to be part of the point made. And during the commercial before the segment, we learned that neither of them practiced. If Shaw Smith-Wade and Chuba Hubbard don't play this week, which we don't know, but they didn't practice today, they will be going into an NFL game more than a month into the season with nobody on the active roster that has scored a touchdown longer than 7 yards this season. Not offense, not defense, not special teams. That right there is why, if you're looking for a statistics reason, why, when they get punched in the mouth, when another team makes a good play, they have such a hard time turning the momentum back onto their side. Why they have such a hard time, once they get behind, catching up and closing that gap. It is very, very difficult, very, very difficult to score a touchdown in the NFL. Okay? Just baseline difficult. It's why if you go and listen to Mic'd Up of Bill Belichick when he was with the Patriots, or now Mike Vrabel with the Patriots, I don't know why those are the 2 coming to my mind. But if their team scores, they don't care if it's an ugly score, 2-yard score, 5-yard score. They don't care if the defender fell down and it was a walk-in, busted coverage touchdown. They will play the film for their team and say, everyone on that offense better be celebrating, because scoring a touchdown in the NFL is difficult, and you better celebrate when you can do it, okay? So that is just tough in and of itself. It becomes astronomically more difficult if you have to go 14 plays and 80 yards and convert 4 third downs and maybe a first or a 4th down conversion on your way to scoring a touchdown. Really, the only way to make scoring a touchdown easier is to find a way to do it on less plays. And that is the nature of big play football. That is why a play caller hunts big plays, because it's easier. Dennis, you're holding up your notebook. That tells me you got some stats.
I do. Talk about how grinding these drives can be in order for the Panthers to score a touchdown. Here are their touchdown drives this season on offense. Again, the Shaw Smith-Wade pick 6, excluded here. 10 plays, 14 plays, 14 plays, 12 plays, 9 plays, 9 plays, 7 plays, 13 plays.
Now that is, I'm not saying those are bad drives, right? Because it's good if you can put a 10-play touchdown drive, it is a bit backbreaking for the defense, and it's a statement. But if that's the only way you're scoring,
that's the problem.
It's just so, your degree of difficulty is Simone Biles level, and you need it you're in a 7 years old and younger gymnastics event. It's so much more difficult than it has to be.
And we also wonder why this team has failed 4 games this season, have had 4 2-minute drives, either end of half or end of game, and have failed in all 4.
There's no chunks.
They haven't gotten past the 30-yard line on a 2-minute drill.
There's no chunk plays. And if you take away Chuba Hubbard, I know Shaw Smith-Wade, that quote-unquote long touchdown is difficult to replicate, right? That like a pick six is you never go into a game going like, well, we're going to bank on a pick six from him.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Ed Reed back in the day, but nobody else. But you take away Chuba Hubbard. I don't think Chuba Hubbard's the most explosive guy on the planet. As a matter of fact, I think if there is a weak link in his game, it is his ability to score like longer than 30-yard touchdowns.
I know he had a 38-yarder last year against Chicago, and I think he had a 28-yard touchdown run against Arizona in overtime. But yeah, it's not an often thing.
At this point, I would love it if a Panthers drive could guarantee me a 12-yard play. Like at this point, the big plays, and I'm not asking for an 80-yard touchdown every game. I'm asking that you try for an 80-yard touchdown every game. Certain play calls that the Panthers have been using, certain drives, it's almost like they're already aware when they start a first down. Like, well, if it's third and we have anything more than 3rd and 4, we have no shot. So let's make sure we get 3 here. Whether they do or not, that seems to be the goal. And I'm going like, well, it would be nice if you tested them deep. Dave Canales spoke to the media. We have some clips here for you to build into this conversation. Dave Canales on trying to get more explosive plays on offense.
There's good stuff, and there's pockets of big plays on the defense, on special teams, in a couple of phases offensively. The lack of big plays, right, and trying to find a way to find explosives through the run game or the pass game. So those are some of the general things, and then there's just a lot of details, a lot of communicating together and execution, that we're counting on to carry over, and it's got to be consistent, because there are these in each game. There are drives where we're executing, we're talking, we're making the things happen, and then there's mistakes being made, and certainly, myself included, in that, in different phases of the games, different decisions and all that on plays to call. All of us just making sure we're taking accountability for the things that we can improve on.
Here's the deal. I agree. They're like, there are drives where you have a good stretch and then you make a mistake. That happens, right? They're human. They're not the most experienced team in the world. They don't have, a Derrick Henry or something that they can just continuously churn out first downs. So that makes the big plays even more worthy of the chance, right? Let's say I'm just spitballing here, grabbing numbers hypothetically. On average, every 8 plays, somebody on the Panthers offense makes a critical error, right? Somebody holds, so they're now 2nd and 20, right? Somebody tips up a pass that they should catch, so it's at risk of interception. Bryce puts the ball in harm's way. Let's say once out of every 8 plays. As long as you avoid that average, you can have a 12-play touchdown drive. But your chances of getting a touchdown, if it only takes 6 plays to do it, it's much better if you average a mistake every 8 plays. And I don't know what the actual numbers are, but it's really difficult to go along, like drive, play, without anybody making that kind of mistake. You only need one person. It's the ultimate team sport. You only need one person to make a critical error to have it all fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
Ike Ekwonu whiffs on one block. Now you have Bryce Young, blindside hit, fumble, bad things happen. Bryce Young holds onto the ball 1 extra second because he misses a read. But okay, now he's forcing it into a small window and it's at risk of interception. It only takes one person to make the mistake. Wide receiver runs a wrong route. One person to make a mistake and the whole drive goes down the drain.
And derails everything.
And going 13, 14 plays without one person making a mistake on an 11-player offense? I'm not even going to try to do the on-air math, but I can type it in. That's 154 players, individual plays, right? 11 players, 14 plays. That's 154 individuals that have to do the right thing on a play. Meanwhile, if you go 11 players on, say, a 7-play drive, it's only 77.
On-air math.
On-air math that is definitely calculator-aided. And the reason why I put this out there is there was a quote from Dave Canales saying they have to avoid the catastrophic plays. That's what he used. They have to avoid the catastrophic plays. And I went, yeah, smart. Every coach will say that. But there needs to be something. You need to have a tool that you go to if you do allow a catastrophic play. Right? It can't be we have no plan B. Our plan A, allow no catastrophic plays, right? No touchdowns allowed on special teams, no turnovers, no 60-yard touchdowns given up by our defense. Plan A is no catastrophic plays allowed. Plan B is, well, we don't know what to do. We gave up catastrophic plays. We can't do it. Like, that's not a good plan B. Plan B has to be fight fire with fire. We gave up a 60-yard touchdown. Let's get a 70-yard touchdown. We gave up a punt return. Let's get a punt block. Like, there has to be we can level the playing field, right? You get a long touchdown. Oh, look at that. We schemed open Teteroa McMillan over the middle and deep, and he caught it and scored a touchdown of our own. Now we're back to square one. There has to be some tool you use to fight when you give up those catastrophic plays. Because the other guys get paid a lot of money too, right? The other guys were first-round picks too. You're playing Miami this week. Jalen Waddle, he's a good player. Devon Achane, he's fast too. They're paid to make big plays, and they might. You can't just go, well, our plan was to not allow that. Now, and then it builds into, and we're gonna go over a little bit here. Dave Canales was asked about being more aggressive on 2nd and short this week. 2nd down and short yardage, 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, 2nd and 3, right? Which means you had a good play on 1st down. Part of his quote was, my philosophy is that on 2nd and short, you run the ball. He's said a lot of things that I agree with. Mm-hmm. He has said a lot of things that I write off as coach speak. He has said a handful of things since taking over as head coach of the Carolina Panthers that has rubbed me the wrong way, and even a smaller percentage of things that have infuriated me. That might be the most infuriating quote he's ever had.
So to add on to that, to expand upon that reason, he said because they want to be a physical team, any chance they have to be a physical running team, he wants to take advantage of. And I always say when it comes to that, it's like, well, there's still time and place, right? Hey, if your defense just gave up a big play and you want to kind of slow some momentum down, then sure, run the ball on 2nd and 3. That's totally fine. But maybe, hey, we're kind of cooking here a little bit, 2nd and 3. Hey, let's go to that deep post.
The best part about being a physical football team is that the opposing team has to play defense as if they're going up against a physical football team. 2nd and 3, they want to get off the field. They are doing everything they can to stop you from picking up that 1st down, which means their linebackers can't play 6 yards off because the 1st down is 3 yards. They're coming up because you're a physical football team. They're coming up thinking you're going to run the ball. That's the opportunity for the big play. If you only hunt for big plays on 3rd and 11, you're always going to be hunting for big plays with 2 safeties high as heck and edge rushers with their ears pinned back and linebackers dropping into coverage, and you're just making your job more difficult than it has to be. And do you know what's the best part about 2nd down?
You got 3rd down.
And 4th.
And 4th.
You got more chance. If you're a big physical football team on 2nd and 2, why do you need to do it on 2nd down? You're a big physical football team. You get 2 yards on 3rd down because you're big and physical. You're like, I'm a big physical football team, so we need 3 tries to get 2 yards. And by the way, I'm not saying every 2nd down and short you take a chance, but 2nd down and short is traditionally a good opportunity to take a chance because you do have more tries in your back pocket if you need them. But play calling has no rules. At best, it has guidelines, but it has no rules because rules are predictable. And if you have rules, defensive coordinators call them tendencies. And tendencies are bad to have as a play caller. Big plays are the equalizer. We didn't even get to Jimmy Horn might be able to provide some of that. Well, maybe we'll get to it later in the show. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here for Loan Pronto. Folks, are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, maybe watching all that hard-earned money vanish every single month? Well, stop that. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases, and here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no-obligation quote. Imagine this. Lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 payments. Don't let high rates hold you back, folks. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We just had a kind of anti or negative conversation on the Carolina Panthers. So it'll be easier for us to come up with our concerns when we get to cons and cons in a little bit. But we'll also force ourselves to come up with a confidence. So we'll be optimistic as well. That and more coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
We've got NFL tonight on 99.9 The Fan. Presented by Wake Med.
Showtime, prime time.
Your primetime matchup is an NFC battle. It's San Francisco and the LA Rams.
Here we go.
Woo! Pre-game starts at 7:30.
Y'all know what time it is, eh?
Kickoff at 8:15.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
On the Triangle's home for the NFL, 99.9 The Fan.
We came here for one thing, to win.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Coach takes the blame for us all the time. We got to step up and we got to have his back. You know what I'm saying? That feeling of last week is one that we need to keep having, and it's one that we got to keep working if we want to achieve every week, right? So, we appreciate him, but this team knows, man. We want to be a player-run team. We want to be a player-led team, to where it doesn't matter what he calls, it doesn't matter what Dave and Brad call. Or Tracy. We want to go out there and have execution at the highest level so we can enjoy the fruits of our labor. You know what I'm saying?
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We will get to cons and cons, which is the simple double question of what are you most confident in and what are you most concerned about. Today we're talking Carolina Panthers and cons, so we'll give our confidences and our concerns in a little bit. But first, there's the little bit of business of diving into our October ladder challenge.
Oh, my God! For the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
Ladder challenge. We make small bets, or likely to win bets, some would say, -500 to -1,000 odds. We start with $10. We roll over the stake in the winnings every day, and hopefully, at the end of the month, we have a nice streak going, and we've 3, 4, 5 times our money. It's a competition between me and Dennis. Whoever has the most money at the end of the month wins. If you get one wrong, you start back at $10. October just got started, so we started with $10 yesterday each. Dennis, how'd it go for you?
Went quite well for me yesterday, actually. So I had Zach Zittrell, the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds taking on the LA Dodgers. Can't remember who the Dodgers were playing yesterday, but I had him giving up at least one earned run, and he gave up like 3.
Yeah, it was a relatively no-sweat win for me as well. I had the Yankees to score at least 2 runs in the game against Boston. They had 2 in the first inning.
There you go.
So it was no sweat. Brought my $10 up to $11.33. What are you up to?
$11.71.
All right, so you have the lead. You get to go first.
All right, so I'm actually going to go a little bit of football actually this evening. Give me Christian McCaffrey for the San Francisco 49ers to have 15 or more receiving yards tonight, because the 49ers have no receivers.
They have Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah.
They have Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yep.
Shout out to the Wolfpack. And they have
Sky Moore.
That
Yeah.
is
So, give me Christian McCaffrey to have 15-plus receiving yards today. So minus 610, so the 1171 will turn into 1362.
They also don't have their quarterback, Brock Purdy, not playing.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Check downs, baby.
Mac Jones.
Give me them check downs.
There's an absurd amount of injuries hitting the skill positions of the Niners, who already started without Brandon Ayuk. Then Ricky Pearsall is down, Jawan Jennings is down, George Kittle is down. I believe they have a backup running back or 2 that are down. It is a brutal
And they traded Deebo Samuel this offseason, too.
Traded Deebo Samuel. Well, I'm also going to that game for mine. I'm going to the other side, though. He is on an all-time heater, Puka Nacua. I'm just trying to bet the heater, right? Stay hot. 50, that is, receiving yards or more for Puka Nacua. Through 4 games, he has 42 catches and 503 yards. He is on pace for almost 2,200 yards this season.
Like over 170 catches,
178 catches and
insane.
Just under 2,200 yards. So I think he can get 50 tonight, which obviously would be a winner for me. It's minus 850, would turn my 1133 into 1266. Let's go Puka. I have to get a Puka shell necklace or something. Just to rep my guy. Take like all my winnings from the ladder challenge to buy a Puka shell necklace. That is the ladder challenge as promised. Next up here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9, it is Cons and Cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
What are you most confident in and what are you most concerned about? 2 separate questions. When it comes to the Carolina Panthers, if you want to play along with this, you can. You can send them into our YouTube live stream comments. YouTube 99.9 The Fan. Search for it. There's a live stream. Subscribe while you're there. We are nearing 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. When we get to 20,000, we will give you something cool. We'll do a giveaway that one of our subscribers will receive. So tell your friends, subscribe. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. And if you want to give us your cons and cons, you can there as well. Confidence and concerns for the Carolina Panthers. We do this every Thursday about this time. We do mix up which teams we do. Sometimes it's college football, college basketball. It could be the Canes. For today, it is the Carolina Panthers. And as always, when you got good news and bad news, which do you go with? You take the bad news first. So concerns to start us off. Dennis, you can lead off.
Okay, my biggest concern is the Carolina Panthers lack any sort of resiliency. It's a major, major problem if your team falls behind and they don't have someone or some way to claw themselves back into the fight. The only reason why against Arizona they were able to make that game somewhat close is because Arizona started playing soft. That's the only way they were able to come back in. It's not because the Carolina Panthers decided to ratchet things up. I'm not saying the guys didn't compete hard, but they have no way of actually pulling themselves out of a hole. There's no resiliency on that team, and was especially evident against the New England Patriots. As soon as that punt return happened for a touchdown, it was like, oh no. And it was only a 7-6 game at that time. That team just simply lacks any sort of resiliency. And I also look at not just the head coach, I look at the quarterback too.
I say it differently, but I think we're saying the same thing. My concern is mental toughness. I put
same thing, yeah.
Underneath, they have no, and then I put in quotes because this is always what is like the cliche that it said, sheer force of willpower. Like they just don't have that. And this is the type of thing that I wouldn't notice. I admit I am overanalyzing, so don't tell me I'm overanalyzing. But when things are going bad, you're looking for this. Did you see the video that went a little viral of Bryce walking to practice yesterday?
I did not.
Okay. There's no reason for anybody to like point it out. He is literally just walking to practice. he looked like, and this is something where, like, if they're winning, I wouldn't have noticed, right? If it was, he looked like he was walking to a job that he hates. Just kind of shoulders relaxed, maybe down a little bit, no emotion on his face, kind of made eye contact with where the camera was and kept moving. And it's there's actually a song, Luke Combs, North Carolina guy, App State guy, big Panther fan, Carolina Panther fan. He wrote a song, there's an album that he put out called Fathers and Sons, and he wrote a song that's all about, like, I didn't know it then, but I'm old enough now to know my old man was right. Like, all the stuff that your dad told you when you were a kid, when you become an adult, you're like, yeah, probably should have listened to all that stuff he told me, right? Turns out I didn't know better. There's a lot of stuff that it pops up in from like my playing career where I'm like, I really thought that was corny. I really thought that was cheesy. But looking back, now I'm like, I kind of get why they did it. Our coaching staff used to do something called False Enthusiasm Wednesdays. And basically what they said was, and they would tell us this at the beginning of the year, on Wednesdays, I don't care if you're faking it. I don't care if you actually are excited to practice or not. I want you hooting and hollering between drills. I want you smacking each other on the shoulder pads. Like, I don't care. Like, do it over the top and fake, right? Do it as a parody of what you think a hyped up player should be. And they did it basically just to ensure juice, right? And it's one of those things that it's like fake it till you make it, right? You start with like, all right, boys, how's it going to go? And you're like just being funny. And then like 10 minutes in, you're like, no, actually, I have more energy now because we're all screaming and yelling, even though none of us started doing it for real. Watching him walk out, I went, I don't care if it's a Wednesday and you're coming off a bad loss and you're dealing with a bunch of injuries and it's just a Wednesday practice. Give me some juice. Give me something. Don't walk out there like you're an accountant going to crunch spreadsheet numbers and you're somebody that doesn't even like math. Like walk in there like you get to live out your, like, just give me something. And there was none of it.
You know, it's interesting when the Panthers were having some success late towards the year last year. People were talking like, oh, Bryce has the swagger. He has the swagger. He's got that confidence. But my thing is that when things are tough, bring the swagger. Bring it, because it's going to raise everyone up there with you.
And then building off of that, did you see the piece of audio that I put in this segment here? Dave Canales was talking about Bryce and the wide receivers, and he said something that even like made me double down on this. Here's Dave Canales.
I've seen a lot of confidence, a lot of confident play. I believe that this is a group that's continuing to try to find chemistry. Of course, beyond T-Mac, who we've seen be a viable target for him, and then some other guys kind of flashed for us in different ways. But finding that rhythm, finding that chemistry is really critical, and it starts in practice and just making sure we're continuing to throw the right concepts, put the guys in position to be successful in routes that they can really execute, you know. And this week is a little bit different now because we're getting Xavier back and, you know, Jimmy Horn's getting ready to play, you know, but we've gotten to see Bryson Tremaine in a certain role. So just continuing to find ways, you know, to see how we can use Bryson as well.
Still developing chemistry. Don't make excuses for him. And by the way, like I like, if his idea simply was I'm going to walk out here and support Bryce, I like that. Okay, so this isn't all bad, but be honest about the play that you're watching. Right now, oh, they're still trying to build chemistry, and he's the starting quarterback, and he had an entire offseason as the guy, and these guys were all around, right? Like I don't care what you can't have chemistry with 8 guys at the same time. That's all you need is 8 guys. Like, none of these people were plucked out of you know, the Neptune and brought down to play football. Have chemistry.
I mean, the only real new guys are Jimmy Horn Jr., who hasn't played yet, Tedderell McMillan, which chemistry's already there,
exactly,
and Mitchell Evans,
who he's actually done fairly well.
Yeah, he actually has.
Based on my expectations for him as a pass catcher, I think he's done fairly well.
It's like last year you had Jatavian Sanders, you had Xavier Legette, you had Jalen Coker, who's obviously not playing right now, but then you also still had Tommy Tremble for all 3 of your seasons in the NFL.
And the misses haven't been, oh, I thought you were breaking out, you were breaking in, or oh, I thought you were faster. They were like, they're misses, right? They're just misses. So, like, when I talk about supporting the quarterback, I don't mean, like, lying, right? I don't mean ignoring the obvious. I mean calling a spade and then saying, I believe in them still anyway. That's putting confidence into your quarterback. Not, well, excuse. All right, let's get to the more optimistic part. That's the concerns for the Panthers. Let's get to the confidence.
This one took a while to think about, the confidence, because let's be honest, there hasn't really been a lot of things to be confident about. Actually, but I will say this, though. I am overall this season, I think the corners of J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, Shaw Smith-Wade have actually played well this season. Now, what's around them hasn't lived up to the billing. But I think overall, I don't feel like those guys are costing them games. Like, all three of those guys I just mentioned all have an interception this season, which is big.
3 of the biggest plays of any variety of the season.
Yes.
Maybe all top, 5 pure best plays have been Shaw Smith-Wade's pick 6, J.C. Horn's ridiculous one-handed interception, and then Mike Jackson with the long return.
Yeah. So to me, I actually feel confident in that group. Now, among the safeties, I like what Lathan Ransom does, but he hasn't been playing enough. I actually like what Trayvon Merrick does in the run-stopping department. Nick Scott, don't know what you're doing. But I will say, in terms of the corners, now we will see if Shaw Smith-Wade actually can play this coming week. But between Smith-Wade, Mike Jackson, and J.C. Horn, those guys have actually played well, and they're not hurting you either, if that makes sense.
This is actually maybe the nicest compliment I can give you.
What's that?
To
for me?
those guys.
Okay,
well, also you for picking them, because I didn't. I am a fantasy football nerd, and there are a few teams that I have to decide whether I'm going to play Jalen Waddle or not. I'm downgrading Waddle for him playing against Carolina. I'm saying, ooh, that's a tough matchup. Not many wide receivers have had good days against the Panthers, which is part when you're ahead by a bunch, you run the ball. But it is also part of J.C. Horn and Mike Jackson have done a pretty good job when tasked with sticking with some impressive wide receivers. Stephon Diggs is really the only one that had a big day this year against the Panthers, which, 4 weeks, one guy, that's not bad in a pass-happy league. My confidence is that, it's backhanded, don't get me wrong, but I'm aware it is. My confidence is that they're talking about change. Sometimes it takes a bit of hitting rock bottom to bring about real change, right? And that Falcons win seemed to come right before they got out the big change makers, right? They all right, if we had another bad game, all right, we're gonna cut DJ Johnson and we're gonna bring up some young guys and we're gonna play them a ton, and then they beat the Falcons by 30 and they went, oh wait, maybe not, maybe we don't change. Then the Patriots game happened, and it's all right, DJ Johnson's gone. All right, Jimmy Horn, you're up on the active roster. All right, Scorton and Princely Umanmielen are going to have to play a bunch. Okay, let's make some changes. Now, I still want to make sure that those changes actually happen. Right? I don't want to talk about Jimmy Horn all week getting a chance, and then he plays 5 offensive snaps, catches 2 fair catch punts, and that's all he does. But at least they're talking about it. So maybe some of the things that I think need to change with this team will actually happen because they hit rock bottom, right? It's the optimism. That's Cons and Cons here in The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. As we transition seasons a bit, right? We've been in the football exclusive season for the last handful of weeks. Pretty soon we're going to go into the football/hockey season.
Yeah, next week. 1 week from today. Let's go.
There we go. That's reason for optimism. And then a couple weeks after that, we'll go into the football/hockey/college basketball season.
That's right.
So if you're looking for optimism and you're a Carolina Panthers fan or some of the college teams in the area that aren't having great seasons, you could be hey, Canes are right around the corner and college basketball is right around the corner as well. So we have some college basketball news for you.
By the way, next week we'll be at ACC Tip-Off on Tuesday and Wednesday next week.
Go. Talking to people like Jon Scheyer, head coach of Duke. As well as the Will Wades and the Hubert Davises and the news-making players of the ACC. And Jon Scheyer, I guess we can kind of book ACC tip-off interviews with him for the next 6 years because Earlier today, it was revealed that they have agreed, meaning Duke and Jon Scheyer, to a new 6-year deal. This, according to Pete Thamel and Joe Borzello, who I believe had it first, which gives him an additional 2 years onto the contract that he already had. The deal takes him through the 2030-2031 season as the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. Now, there are, and I ran through some of them earlier, right? He, through 3 seasons, is tied for the most wins of any coach through their first 3 seasons as a head coach. Only UConn and Houston have more wins through over the last 3 seasons than Duke does. They reached Final Four last year. He's recruiting at an astronomical level. There's a lot of good when you look at the numbers. I think the story is why this extension happens and why Duke was probably anxious to lock him up for a further period of time. I think it's important to remember that Jon Scheyer got the head coaching job at Duke with no head coaching experience, right? That Duke had options, right? They had guys within the brotherhood that had left being assistants at Duke and gone to be head coaches elsewhere. Legends. Johnny Dawkins, Steve Wojciechowski, Chris Collins, right? On and on. The list goes on. They chose a guy with no head coaching experience who was on the sideline as an assistant at Duke in Jon Scheyer. So you would expect that would come with a learning curve, right? Because even if you're like, watching Coach K and taking notes on what you would do in each situation, those aren't the live bullets, right? Coach K is the one making those decisions. So Jon Scheyer took over with no experience as a head coach. I don't want to say no, right? Maybe, coached a 12-year-old team or something along the way. But no major college basketball head coaching experience. And the thing that I think Duke became excited about the most, in addition to the wins and the put a Final Four up and all those things, is you could almost like tangibly see the development. And because of that, you're not as worried about obstacles that pop up. I use, my best, evaluation, and I always kind of relate it back to quarterback because it's what I played. But the moment a quarterback has some success and then the defenses figure something out to stop the offense and they counter and get the offense going again, the moment that happens, I go, oh, this guy's going to be good for a long time, right? I'll use C.J. Stroud as an example. I'm still up in the air on C.J. Stroud because he had an unbelievable rookie year, and it's obvious that defensive coordinators are doing something to tamper down the success he had his rookie year. If he can figure out the counterpunch, if he can figure it out and go on another hot streak, then I'm like, oh, Stroud's going to be good forever until his body breaks down. Because that just shows that you can beat people in different ways. You're not a one-trick pony, right? Similar for a coach. If a coach takes over and, has a great recruits that the previous guy had or has one really good player and has some success, and then the rest of the league figures you out, I need to wait for that counter. I need to wait for you to make the adjustment until I go, all right, you're going to be a good coach for a long time. I think Jon Scheyer has had that moment, right? He's had the moments where you had a really good team. Some of that Filipowski era stuff, Duke underwhelmed, lost some games that I don't think they should have lost. And I think he appropriately made changes. And then this past year, I said it all last season. I said it preseason last year. I think Duke had the best basketball team in the country. Did they win the national championship? No, but they made it to a Final Four, and there is some luck involved. But then, obviously, as many of you were saying, especially if you're not a Duke fan, if you're a Duke rival, that collapse against Houston was pretty aggressive, right? And it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But because I've seen him counter, I am of the belief that whatever mistakes led to the collapse, he won't make again. I think he made mistakes, and I think he would admit he made mistakes. And, should he call the timeout at this point, or should have had Caleb Foster playing more at certain points, or should have, maybe put the ball in an upperclassman's hands at different points. I think he understands there were mistakes made, but I've seen him make mistakes and the next year be much better at that area of the game. And I think that's why Duke is like, 6 years, let's get him for 10 years if we can.
Yeah, I think he'll learn not to take the ball out of the air so quickly in a game with so much time left.
And Sion James, right? Maybe when somebody gets a little rattled, you don't have him inbound, right? There are parts of that game that he'll learn from. And, once that happens, once the learning happens and you recognize he's going to keep getting better, that's what you want out of your coach. And then on top of that, he's the only head coach in ACC history to win 2 conference titles in the first 3 seasons. There's some tangible stuff to point to as well.
And I think we have to remind ourselves that he's only done it for 3 seasons as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Duke, and I would like UNC, Kentucky, there are certain programs where their coaches, in our minds, age like dog years.
Yeah.
Because there's so much attention put on them nationally that sometimes you have to do the math. It's like, no, divide how long it feels like he's been coached by 7. That's how long he's actually been coached. Because if you told me Coach K was coaching 4 years ago, I'd be like, no, he stopped coaching a decade ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's 2025, man.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But I know, it was not that long ago. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a feedback frenzy. We'll hear from some of you coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
Hey, NC State. Hey, Carolina Panthers. It just wasn't meant to be again. It's okay to say you're not okay, but fixing it is not as simple as adding softies to your schedule. There's something broken within your organizations, and without meaningful change, the locker rooms could be lost again.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I've been on the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center for just about 2 months now, and I'm proud to say that I've lost nearly 40 pounds. And it's something that I can sit there and say, and I look in the mirror, that I put the work in to do it. And I know a lot of people want to put the work in, but they don't know how. They don't know where to go. And this is what Raleigh Weight Loss Center gives you. They give you a plan. They tell you, if you follow this, you can see results. It's that simple. Stay dedicated, stay disciplined, and you can see results. And I have been able to do that through the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. It's direct, it's straightforward, it's easy to follow, and I've lost nearly 13% of my body weight as a result. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or schedule your free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Ask any questions, determine if it's the right fit for you. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506, 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
Tim, I'm receiving an important update.
Ooh, are you getting night vision?
No. I just found out you could get $200 with Navy Federal Credit Union when you refinance your auto loans from another lender.
So, no night vision?
No night vision.
Learn more at NavyFederal.org/autoloans. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval. Refinance loan must be at least $5,000 to be eligible for the $200. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Brian from McDonald's. And if you're like me, you're a don't talk to me until I get my cup of coffee person. Sarah knows that very well. That's why I treat myself to McDonald's. And right now, you can grab any sized iced coffee for just $1. Maybe you need something extra. Go for a hot or iced mocha, latte, or macchiato for $2. And if you're really feeling fancy, for $3, you can get a caramel or mocha frappe. Easy as 1, 2, 3. $1, $2, $3. Any size, every morning, during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Don't miss Bailey's Fall Antique and Vintage Jewelry Show October 7th through 11th. Search through hundreds of vintage necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings, and more to discover your unique jewelry treasure. Visit Bailey's Fine Jewelry on October 7th in Rocky Mount, October 8th in Greenville, October 9th in Cary, or October 10th and 11th in Raleigh's Village District to find your perfect piece of jewelry history. Visit BaileyBox.com for details.
Bryce takes the bell tie snap. Looking left, throws, back left corner of the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Tommy Tremble brings it in.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's time to hear from many of you. Some of you. Not all of you, I wish. It's something we call a feedback frenzy. This is the part of the show where Dennis peruses the interwebs. He checks out everything going on in comments on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. Social media is all over the place, and he brings the best comments from you all to the show, and we react in real time.
All right, so earlier today, about an hour and a half ago, it's on our YouTube page now, we discussed UNC versus Clemson this week and how really, well, let's just say the loser of that game, there's going to be a lot more panic. This one comes from Word Up. Word Up 13 says, UNC fans switched to basketball mode by week 2, so no panic there. Clemson fans will panic either way.
Not either way. I mean, unless you say they're already on like max, like if it's, they're already a 17 out of 10 or something like that, and even a dominant win over UNC would only pull it back to a 13 out of 10. I think... here's a bigger picture college sports topic. With how much money it costs to be elite at a sport, I do think certain schools are having to choose whether they want to go all in for football, all in for men's basketball, if they want to try to divide their attention and do both. And your decisions there, which one prioritizes which, impacts how how excited you get for each sport. I'm not saying this is 100% true, but it does feel like state is putting basketball maybe at least equal to football, which not many teams are doing. UNC spent a lot of money on football this past year, right? The budgets and everything relative to other teams, football is, whether fans believe it or not, Chapel Hill's all in on football. Hubert Davis is probably going like, if everybody turns to basketball by week 2 of the football season, could we make sure that the basketball team gets to spend like a Carolina basketball brand should? And they're like, well, Belichick's expensive. I'm not sure the spending aligns with what that commenter believes is the priorities for UNC.
All right, let's actually switch gears over to a little bit of Carolina Panthers, actually, here real quick. We had a conversation just not that long ago about how the Carolina Panthers, let's say they just can't score big plays. And this one actually comes from Richard. So Richardson says, this is where guys like Jimmy Horn Jr. can potentially help. Speed kills, and if they use him effectively, he can scare defensive backs big time with his speed. You're not the biggest guy, but can use his speed. We'll see what Dave Canales' game plan is, but Dave's inconsistency as a play caller is to be determined.
Jimmy Horn Jr. can do everything that Jimmy Horn Jr. is being talked about doing, right? The fans are really excited for Jimmy Horn Jr. to get his first look. I would caution against expecting it because he is a 6th-round rookie making his first NFL appearance. Here's the way that I would hope they use Jimmy Horn Jr. They take a couple of shots, like give him a chance to use that speed. It was obvious in preseason that he's got a little wiggle to him, right? He's got some pop. I think especially if Xavier Legette is back and healthy, he's also of the 4.39 40 variety, both fast dudes. If you can use those two to just raise everything on the defense, safeties, corners, make them backpedal aggressively, then lean on Tedero McMillan. Then you can lean on some of the guys that work better in the intermediate and crossing routes. But you do have to, you can't just send the deep guys deep and expect defenses to respect them. You have to take the shot every once in a while. Think of how Marquez Valdez-Scantling is used. Think of how really all of the traditionally just recklessly fast guys have been used, right? I'm going back to Goodwin. I'm going to Kendrick Bourne. Some of these guys who, they need to catch a long touchdown once a month so defenses can respect their ability to catch deep balls every game, right? And that's where I think Jimmy Horn Jr. needs to be.
All right, let's actually go back to a little bit of UNC football right here.
Let's do it.
So yesterday we played some audio sound bites of Bill Belichick. Earlier this week, he and Michael Lombardi, and how it seems like Bill Belichick seems to be developmentally minded in terms of, hey, first year here, trying to lay the foundation and so on and so forth. Well, this one comes from Chai Rocket. Chai Rocket says...
Chai Rocket or Chai?
Chai, C-H-I.
Okay, Chicago.
Chai Rocket says, focused on development in the portal era is code for being bad. If the players start performing, they should transfer next season.
Oh, that's funny. That caught me off guard. I don't know what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Before. Focusing on development in the portal era is code for being bad. I don't think it's wholly untrue. I don't know if it's completely true. There's a grain of truth in that joke. I've long said that in the portal era, if you want guys to stay, you have to provide value, quality of life to everyone on the roster, or else you're only going to have a chance at keeping those that are playing on Saturdays. So if there's somebody on your roster that is a diamond in the rough, but you feel it needs a lot of polishing, you have to work with them to get better. Because then your exit interview is, look at how much you improved. We had a part in that. Let's keep you around and get you to the point where you can contribute. If there's somebody on the bench and you're not helping them improve, there's no reason for them to stay at all. So it's a double-edged sword. But I will agree that, I think the top blue blood programs, I don't know if they're going to be developmentally based much longer. They're going to be, you show up good, or we're going to replace you with somebody that's already good. So get out of here, right? And we'll go grab the best player from a lower budgeted Power 5 conference or Power 4 conference team. And that's a different way to work. But I don't think the commenter is entirely incorrect to make the, I assume, kind of jokey nature of what they were saying joke.
All right, let's actually go to a couple comments here, at least one here from Pack Therapy, which a new episode actually just dropped yesterday. You and Mike Glennon. And this one comes from Tito the Rock. Tito the Rock says,
what up, Tito?
The concern from the Virginia Tech game is how pedestrian the offense looked. Defense held Virginia Tech to 23. The offense has to be better for the Pack to win games.
I'm going to tweak that a little bit.
Okay.
And it's a point that I tried to make on the podcast, and I don't know if it was articulated as well, so I'll try to do a better job here. I don't think the offense looked pedestrian. I think the state offense produced pedestrian while looking like they had dudes, which is more frustrating, right? If you have an offense that puts up 21 points and you're looking at it going like, I don't know if they have the physical ability to score 30, right? Then it's like, it's almost like if you're a teacher and you have a student that gets a B, but they grinded. They worked as hard. They did everything they possibly could and earned the heck out of that B, like you're proud of them. Then there's the kid who gets a B, and it's so obvious they could have been an A+, right? It's so like, you just didn't put in any effort, right? That's the difference. And I'm not saying State didn't put in effort, but I'm saying their potential was obvious the whole game. They could have scored 35 on Virginia Tech, and instead they scored 21. They didn't look pedestrian. The results were pedestrian, which I think was much more frustrating. I still came away from that game thinking C.J. Bailey's a future pro. I still came away with that game thinking Hollywood Smothers one of the best running backs in the league, that their pass catchers are really good. The offensive line left some things to be desired, but they shouldn't have been pushed around. That's what that's what made me the most frustrated about State.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, 26 of 34 for 240 are C.J. Bailey and 2 touchdowns.
And no picks.
No interceptions at all.
That's if he, and we did say this exact phrase on the pod. Check it out. Pack Therapy, available everywhere podcasts can be found. If he played that exact game last year, we would have been going, huge step forward for C.J. Bailey. The rest of the team has to back him up. In this game, we're going like, he's not the reason they lost, but I expected more. He missed some throws. Like the bar has been raised for C.J. Bailey, which is part of the reason why it's a little bit more frustrating. Like, we know how good you can be, so we can't put up with you not getting to your second or third read.
He's also sacked a bunch that game.
I think he was seeing the rush, which I was getting on him as being like a young quarterback. Like, all right, young quarterback, feeling the rush, getting a little skittish. And Mike did correct me as the 10-year NFL vet, and he was like, yeah, go watch some of these guys in the NFL that are paid $50 million. When they get hit 4 or 5 times in the first half, they start getting a little skittish too. It's not just the 19-year-olds. That's just self-preservation. Sometimes if you get hit a bunch, you're like a little more antsy, which it's true. but still don't want it to happen. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that interacts with all of our videos online, all of our social media, podcasts, and otherwise. Check them out on our app, 99.9 The Fan. Download it, as well as on our YouTube page. We're still chasing that 20,000 subscriber mark, and we'd like to get there sooner rather than later. So tell your friends. 99.9 The Fan is the name of the channel on YouTube. In the meantime, I have a message for you from Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. And the message is simple. Miller Lending offers a no closing cost loan, which, the bar has been raised. Right? We're talking about that when you have a really good year, the next year expectations are higher. Well, here's what happens in the mortgage lender market quite a bit. When rates are low, every mortgage lender wants to offer you all kinds of cool stuff. We'll do it with no closing costs. We'll do it with this because the market is booming and it's competitive. But then when the rates get a little bit higher, right, when they're rising, when they're maybe not as appetizing, all of a sudden all those offers go away. Not with Miller Lending, right? They feel like they've raised the bar and they are going to reach that mark every time. Their no closing cost loans are available through high rates and low. What that guarantees is, say you do lock in a mortgage rate with a no closing cost loan and with the expectation that if rates drop in 6 months, in 18 months, in 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, you're going to go back to Miller Lending and you're going to want the lower monthly payment and you don't want to pay closing costs again. They're not going to go, oh, we don't offer that anymore, like some other mortgage lenders. Miller Lending is going to go, perfect. That's exactly the plan we designed for you when we locked you in with that no closing cost loan 18 months ago, and we're happy to have you back. Matter of fact, there are some of you that could do that right now, right? If you locked in a mortgage handful of months ago, year ago, whatever it was, if it's in the 7s, you might be ready to call Miller Lending and get that lower monthly payment with no closing costs right now. Here's the number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. Coming up next, we have the starting five, including some injury updates for the Carolina Panthers. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
This is your year if you're Buffalo. This is your year. The competition in the AFC in terms of number of great teams is less than it feels like it's been. You have to take advantage of it.
I'm looking around the landscape of the AFC, and every single team has major questions with the exception of the Buffalo Bills.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
I'm glad you agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.
But you are a date, and first is in your name.
Yeah, I guess I've just been married to my work, Spreading the news about new scratch-offs coming out every first Tuesday.
New scratch-offs release every first Tuesday?
Wait, you don't know about new scratch-off tickets that come out Okay. Well, okay. You got me.
Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. The cool, crisp fall air is here. It's sticking around tonight. It'll be mostly clear with lows falling near 50 degrees by daybreak. Layer up Friday because it's a chilly start in the morning, but we're back in the mid-70s during the afternoon, and then highs are near 80 for the weekend.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones this afternoon up 78 points to 46,519.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. So let's jump right into it, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Before we get into a Panthers injury update, regardless of who's playing, I'm going to be out at the Carolina Ale House in Cary on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
With giveaways. I might pick up some of your food, meaning pick up the check for your food, not quite literally pick it up. I'll be talking with Panther fans, maybe commiserating, maybe celebrating. Who knows? The odds might lean one way of those. But join Carolina Ale House for football all season long. If there are too many games on too many different streaming platforms this season, Ale House, they know how to show every game. So go ahead and check it out. I'll be there this Sunday. You
said in Cary, correct?
Cary, in the Cary Carolina Ale House. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Carolina Ale House. But I'll be there, so if you anything you want to talk about, I'll be there, and I might just pass you a little little gift card, something, a little swag. I'll have a bunch of stuff to give away. This is always a conversation that fans give me. If you look at the rest of the Panthers' schedule, do you count any of those as a win? I don't know why I turn all the listeners that I talk to into like a angry New York baseball fan. Like, tell me you saw Jeter. But it's always a good question, right? Like, look at the rest of the schedule. Do any of them look like wins? And I always go, well, if you had to pick one, which one is the most, right? If you had to bet your money that the Panthers were going to win a game based on their opponent this season, which one are you going with? And I have to be honest, Sunday against the Dolphins might be the choice.
Yeah.
Outside of like history, like
Saints.
I mean, they always beat the Falcons, right? 3 of their last 7 wins, which is all they've had or 8 wins, whatever it's been in the last 3 years, have come against the Falcons. So there's some of that going on. But just pure like situation, everything, I think the Dolphins might be it. They're one of their best players. Catastrophic injury last week. Short week for them. They're not a good football team. The Panthers have an opportunity here to get a win that not many expect them to, but might actually be one of their better chances to get a win. But I do think they need a little bit of injury luck because some of the updates we're getting as the week goes along are pretty crushing players. Dennis, can you pass along the official kind of reports on the injury report?
So the Carolina Panthers might be without Chuba Hubbard. He did not practice this today nor yesterday, so he hasn't practiced at all this week due to a calf injury, something that actually lingered from last week. Also, we already knew about Jatavian Sanders with the ankle injury he suffered a couple of games ago against Atlanta, where he's still dealing with that. He's also going to be out probably this week as well. Shaw Smith-Wade did not practice again today due to a chest injury. So he did not practice yesterday, not today either. And also Tershawn Wharton, who actually left the game against Jacksonville in week 1 with a hamstring injury, missed the next 2 games, came back and played this past Sunday against New England, got a sack. Played 31 snaps on a snap count. Did not practice again for the second straight day due to a toe injury now. So those guys did not practice, but some guys that we did see come back, Xavier Legette, full participant in practice for the second straight day. Same thing with Pat Jones, full participant for the second straight day. Both those guys have missed some time due to hamstring injuries, so those are always good to see. At least some guys coming back. And DJ Wadham, who missed this past Sunday with a hip injury, was limited in practice for the second straight day, so still up in the air if we'll see maybe DJ Wadham this weekend.
The Chuba Hubbard one and the Turk Wharton one, those are the two that make me go, really? This is a game that they might have a chance in, and really? Now, if Chuba were just not practicing, quote unquote, just not practicing, I do think I would kind of be like, well, he's a veteran, right? How much does a Wednesday practice really help a running back that has, is already top 10 in career rushing yards for the franchise? But paired with the fact that they brought up DJ Dallas to the active roster, a running back, even if he's just there to take some of the special team stuff off of Etienne's plate, and that means Etienne might be more in need to be a backup running back. If Chuba doesn't play, I think his leadership is necessary for that team. I think there's a lot of things that they benefit from him being on the field. And defensively, Turk Wharton, it's half a joke, but it's also half true. He has 50% of the team's sacks. They only have 2. But he's got one of them. And I just don't think that defense can withstand taking any kind of a productive pass rusher off the field right now. Tua has his flaws. Okay, Tua Tagovailoa has his flaws. He is 100% a good enough quarterback that if you give him all day to throw, he'll pick you apart. If you get him off his spot and you get him moving and you get him a little rattled, he'll help you. Like, don't get me wrong there either. He's not, Josh Allen out of the pocket. I'm worried that he might have all day to throw. Mike McDaniel, he's a play caller that can get in his own head a little bit, right? Start over. He can definitely get into the, they don't think that I'm going to do this, and you're going to think that I'm going to do that, so I'm going to do this, and then it always ends up with like Malik Washington speed sweep. But if you let him get into a rhythm, if you let him into a get going, they can add up some points fast. Turk Wharton, Chuba Hubbard not practicing makes me worried. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
So there's a full slate of college football this weekend, right? There's one game that I think I almost want to divide the preview into 2. One is storyline. One is like the storyline side is emotion, it's reaction, it's all of that. And then there's the football, okay? And that's UNC versus Clemson. Tomorrow I'm going to try to focus on the football, right? What is Clemson's very talented yet surprisingly not that productive defensive front going to try to do to the surprisingly unproductive passing game of UNC? Like, we can talk football tomorrow. Today, whichever coach loses this game is going to become like the football post-game press conference edition of a car accident that you can't look away from. Like, I don't want to watch, but I can't not watch. Dabo Swinney is already in somehow, and I don't know how he got to this point, in a really combative relationship with like everyone that follows Clemson. I would imagine if he was just like his jovial, charming, whatever that is, self, he could just point to 2 national championships and a billion ACC championships and say, yeah, rough season for us, but I'm fighting hard for you. And everyone would just be like, all right, cool. But instead, he's getting into these weird back and forths. And if they lose or don't play well against UNC, I think that becomes, that's gasoline to the fire. On UNC's side of things, coming off a bye week, finally going into ACC play, they had their moment in kind of the shadows away from the spotlight to try to fix some things that were eating at them and for the first 4 games. I think UNC is at risk of their fans kind of going like, all right, yeah, no, it's not that different. It's the same thing. Let's go. We thought Belichick was going to do something different. Let's get out of here. And just, going back to what the commenter said earlier during Feedback Frenzy, going back to like, football is the thing we do until basketball season starts. Meanwhile, Belichick was supposed to be the one that turned them into a football program. Not saying they weren't that before. I'm just saying what the narrative was. I really like Mac Brown, and I really like some of the players that have come through the UNC program. So I think they had a nice little not nice little. I'm being patronizing. I think they had a good football program before that. But Belichick was supposed to take them to another level, and if you get smoked by Clemson, I think there's going to be quite a bit of, we were wrong, didn't happen. Maybe some apathy. That's number 4. Let's hit number 3.
What?
All right, Dennis, what's going on in Major League Baseball? The playoffs.
So the Detroit Tigers are up 4-1 now in the top of the 7th. They've actually pushed another couple of runs across the plate here in the top of the 7th. So they lead 4-1 over Cleveland.
And this is a winner advances, loser goes home.
Yep.
Wild card game 3.
And just getting underway is San Diego and Chicago. That's a 5 o'clock first pitch. That's literally just getting underway. And then tonight, 8 o'clock, Yankees, Red Sox in New York in the Bronx. Again, winner goes on to the divisional series.
So there were, if I'm correct, 4 wild card 3-game series.
Yes.
And 3 of them have gone the maximum 3 games.
That's correct. And as we say that, looks like the Detroit Tigers are now up 5-1, pushing another run across the plate. Expanding on their lead here in the top of the 7th.
And obviously Guardians fans aren't stoked, but this is kind of a fun part where it's now every batter is going up there knowing if I don't get on base, it could be all over. That's the most pressure you could have. We could be fishing by this time tomorrow. We could be on the golf course the next day. It could be that quick if I don't get a hit right here, right now. And baseball is already a sport where you're in your own head too much, right? There's too much time to sit around and think. And now they're going up with that hanging over their shoulders. And then what's the Padres and Cubs just got started.
Make that 6-1 Detroit now. 6-1. There's only one out in the top of the 7th.
Feel for the pitcher and the pitcher's parents. Cubs and Padres. That's another good one. Padres spent a lot of money. A lot of it. So did the Cubs, actually. The Dodgers are the only one that punched their ticket out of the wild card, right? So they and the Phillies will start up in a couple of days with obviously mostly rested bullpens ready to rock. That'll be, the hugely electric game. And speaking of hugely electric, any year, I don't care if it's the wild card, I don't care if it's later in the postseason, I don't care if it's a 1-game playoff because they were dead heat at the end. If you get a Red Sox-Yankees winner advances, loser goes home elimination game, that's an exciting day, right? That's an exciting day. The Yankees did what they had to do in Game 2 to get the win to force Game 3. And tonight at 8, Red Sox-Yankees winner advances to play the Blue Jays. Because, of course, one of their own division rivals just sitting there waiting for Red Sox or Yankees.
So, by the way, here's an interesting note between Yankees and Red Sox tonight. The Red Sox are starting a young guy by the name of Connolly Early.
Connolly Early.
He actually started the year in Double-A, if I remember correctly, this season. He's 23 years old. He's the youngest starting pitcher in the postseason for the Red Sox since Babe Ruth in the 1916 World Series. Babe Ruth was almost 22. It was 21 in 248 days. Connolly Early is 23 years old in 182 days. The youngest pitcher to start a postseason game since Babe Ruth back in 1916 in the World Series.
So
that's insane.
Tell me if I'm hearing this right. Connolly Early is going to hit 700 home runs in his career. That's what you're telling me.
715. One more.
Or 714. Few things. One, again, movie reference, For the Love of the Game. When Kevin Costner's character Billy Chappell has the perfecto going, and the Yankees pinch hit the young guy who maybe his first at bat, something like that.
Just got called up.
And Vin Scully's like, just young enough to not understand what's going on, or whatever the line is. Maybe you're putting the 22, 23-year-old pitcher out there because they're like, he thinks he's going to be in this position every year. He doesn't know how unbelievably pressure-filled this should be. He's naive enough to go pitch well. Where if you put like a 30-year-old out there, he's going to be squeezing the ball too tight because he's a little worried. He's out there putting his name into the Red Sox-Yankees lore. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe he's just the best pitcher that they have available, and they're just trying him out there. I would say this. Neither are going to have long leashes. You put two guys on, bullpen. Because we can't afford to lose this one. We'll figure out what to do with our bullpen next time when we get there. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
All right, just going to throw in a little Steve Smith Sr. We discussed this yesterday. The Big Ten is in discussions about a private capital deal that would infuse at least $2 billion into the league and its schools, sources told ESPN yesterday. The discussions would include a 10-year extension of the league's grant of rights, which is their media rights, until 2046, again, sources told ESPN, which would ensure long-term stability in the Big Ten, according to Pete Thamel and Dan Wetzel on their ESPN article. I wanted to double back to it today for just a couple minutes because and occasionally this happens where I'm driving home and I'm going, you know what? I think that conversation didn't have the correct tone. I acted like I knew too much because I latched on to one thing, right? I latched on to the 10-year extension of the league's grant of rights and how big of a deal I thought that was. And as I was driving home, I was thinking and I went, I don't understand this. And I want that to be clear here, okay? I don't know why private capital would be interested in giving the Big Ten $2 billion. Private capital, right? Private investments, angel investors, whatever you want to call it, venture capital. They don't invest the way a booster does, right? Where a booster gives money to their favorite program in hopes of that program winning. And their return is hopefully the winning. Private capital invests with the expectation that they're getting equity or value or cash back in return. And I can't figure out what that is. Is a private investment firm or a private capital deal going to be made where the Big Ten gets $2 billion and somewhere down the road they're going to be expected to return more than $2 billion? Because I don't get where that more than $2 billion would come from. Because if you give Big Ten schools $2 billion right now, I'll tell you what they're going to do with it. They're going to pay coaches, staff, and players. Maybe increase some facilities. And I don't necessarily see, unless you are letting whoever gives you this investment in on a percentage of ticket sales or a percentage of media deal, TV rights, in which case this is just like a payday loan, right? You're just taking $2 billion up front with the expectation that they're going to be taking it out of your paychecks moving forward, and those paychecks are the lifeblood of your program. Like, if they're taking 10% of your media money, well, 10 years from now, when you need that media money, this $2 billion is long gone. They're still going to be there with their hands out. I'm just talking hypotheticals. I don't get it. And I want that to be clear that they're throwing a lot of big words out here and it hasn't been explained in a way that I can understand it.
See, I'm curious if the private investor, like you said, do they take a percentage of ticket sales and merch and media rights and basically just football-related revenue or just revenue in general? Now, in order to make up that gap after that initial influx of money, and guess what happens as a result? Prices for stuff just go up, which then you're now squeezing the consumer. Like, now you're actually putting the pressure on the fan to make up all that difference, which is, let's be honest, fans are taxed enough when it comes to going to sporting events with parking,
very much so,
concessions, ticket prices, merch, the whole deal. It's hard enough as is.
And I've very much tried to think of, like, perhaps they're doing this like a minority stakeholder in a professional sports league or a professional sports team, where you have somebody that owns like 5% of the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, or any other Bucks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I don't care which team it is, of a professional sports team, and they're not necessarily getting cash back, but that 5% grows in valuation, and they can sell that. Like, is a private investment firm going to own a certain percentage of the Big Ten that is then expected to go up in value over years if it's a good investment?
Yeah, but how do you value it? Because it's a collection of universities, and which many of them are state schools.
Every time I think I come up with what might be an answer, it leads to 17 more questions that I don't have answers to. So I wanted to double back to the conversation. Just maybe some of you have some better insight, and you can pass it along to us. YouTube live stream comments. Follow me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. I don't even know what you're buying. I don't. And I'll give you a similar phenomena that has happened recently with this. The fake company that gave Kawhi Leonard money, Mark Cuban's like defending the Clippers, and I've listened to a few conversations with Mark Cuban where the company sells carbon credits, which I guess is like if you drive your private jet around, they then like plant trees and give you a credit for like you've actually helped the environment more than you've hurt the environment. It's a really weird I don't understand that either. And Cuban keeps talking it like keeps going like, oh no, Ballmer buys the carbon credit. I have the carbon credits. I'm like, I don't understand this business at all. So twice in the last like 2 weeks, I've been sitting here going, maybe I'm not smart enough to understand what's going on here, but these businesses don't seem to make sense. All right, that's number 2. I just want to get that off my chest. Make sure I didn't portray myself as somebody that was in the know when I'm really not. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go on!
There is a business that I understand that made a business decision here. Duke basketball decided it was in their best business interest to give Jon Scheyer a contract, 6-year contract, which ties him to the team. The program 2 additional years than his previous agreement. He is now tied to the program through the 2030-2031 season. This business makes sense. You have a guy who's won more games, or at least tied for the most games won in his first 3 years as a head coach with anyone else in the sport in its history, tied with Brad Underwood and Brad Stevens for the most wins through the first 3 years as a head coach. That's pretty good. No coach in ACC history has won 2 ACC league titles in his first 3 years. He's done it. He's had in his 4 recruiting classes, he's had 3 number 1 ranked in the country recruiting classes. This seems as like paint by numbers as a decision to extend a contract would be. And it's crazy how high expectations are at Duke that I'm not sure everyone sees it that way. Where I'm going, like, of course they want him for 6 more years. He was in the Final Four last year. And there are those that have such high expectations for that program that are just saying, like, well, actually, he hasn't won a national title in his first 3 years. And he actually probably should have last year. And he collapsed in the kind of Final Four. And I'm like, yep, kind of all that is grain of truth, maybe a little bit. But he had never been a head coach before he got the head coach at Duke. I mean, that's not being thrown into the deep end of the pool. That's like you still got your water wings on, your floaties, and they're throwing you into the Bermuda Triangle out of a helicopter and letting you go. And they're like, swim there. It's crazy. Crazy. And here's the other part about it. We haven't even talked about this yet, and at some point it'll be part of the Jon Scheyer conversation. Look at all of across college and professional sports. Look at all of the quote-unquote guys that followed the guy, right? All of the stepping in for the absolute legend. The hit rate is very low. The hit rate for, the coach that comes after Bill Belichick in New England, the coach that comes after Dean Smith, right? The guys after the guy, and that those are a couple examples. There's a million of them, right? It doesn't usually end well. Usually there's almost like a sacrificial coach between even the good programs that seem like they stay consistently good. There's like the guy between the one that is the spiritual successor to the legendary coach. Jon Scheyer taking the baton from Coach K in the way he did, and for the most part being really good at the jump. Yeah, that's business that I understand. I'm not going to be driving home today and going, oh, you know what? I didn't mention all the confusing parts about the Jon Scheyer extension. I'm going to be going, yeah, it makes sense. Does he have things he wants to do better? Do fans have things that they wish happened in the Final Four? Absolutely. But I think he'll learn. And I think they'll eventually he'll have a national championship at Duke. I'm not as confident this year as I was last year in the squad, but we'll see how it goes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and he's going to have more competition from in the Triangle as well. State bringing a little bit of sizzle. They sold out their opener for the first time since they moved into the Lenovo Center.
Since the 90s, literally, 1999.
I like when all three teams in the Triangle are really, really good. I like when they all have really, really interesting coaches. And Jon Scheyer is locked in. Will Wade is introducing himself. And Hubert Davis has an improved roster, I would say. And some big guys, which I think they lacked last year. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the starting five. We need some numbers game contestants. The SAS Championship, the SAS Championship, if you're looking for the website, saschampionship.com, we have a pair of tickets. They're celebrating 25 years, by the way, with their event, which runs from October 10th to the 12th at Prestonwood Country Club in Cary. Food Truck Friday is a part of it. They have a big fireworks show on Friday. Then 7 Hall of Famers, 13 major champions, 10 Ryder Cup legends in the field, teeing it up in Cary. Kids get in free. Tickets start at just $30. You can grab yours now at saschampionship.com. But if you want to win the tickets, not only tickets to the SAS Championship, but tickets that include access to the Mellow Mushroom Chill Club with open bar and catering, you can win your tickets by winning the numbers game. Right now, we need 2 contestants to call in to play the numbers game and perhaps win the tickets. The number to call, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Call in now. Numbers game next.
We've got NFL tonight on 99.9 The Fan. Presented by Wake Med.
Showtime, prime time.
Your primetime matchup is an NFC battle. It's San Francisco and the LA Rams.
Here we go. Woo!
Pre-game starts at 7:30.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Kickoff at 8:15.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
On the Triangle's home for the NFL, 99.9 The Fan.
We came here for one thing, to win.
At Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford, we've got 3 great brands under one roof and deals that will get you in the driver's seat today. We've got the perfect new or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV for you. Family owned for over 70 years, we treat you like one of our own with friendly service, honest deals, and a commitment that keeps our customers coming back. Plus, state-of-the-art service and collision centers to keep you rolling. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC. Visit us in Sanford or at wilkinsoncars.com. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
It's bow time. Fumbling the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today, and it's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize for today, tickets to the SAS Championship in Cary, Champions Tour Golf. That include the Mellow Mushroom Chill Club, which is open bar, catering, all that. The contestants for today on the numbers game are Tyler in Durham and Tom in Clayton. We'll bring them each onto the show. We'll ask them the same question. Dennis will listen to the answers, pick his favorite. That person will get to go first. Tyler in Durham, you're up first. Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. The question for today is, on our app, our 99.9 The Fan app, which everyone should download, live streams, podcasts, blogs, giveaways, 99.9 The Fan, Google Play and App Store. We recently gave away a signed Xavier Legette jersey, a signed Panthers jersey, to one of the early adopters of our app. And every time we give away a jersey or a signed ball or a signed helmet, I always imagine it being prominently displayed in like a bar room in the house or the man cave or a cool setup, right? The TV room. So let's assume, I don't know if you do or not, you have one of those, right? Like a sports watching room of some kind. And I told you I can get you any signed jersey from any player in the history of sports, any sport, any team. It's signed by the person for you to put up in your sports watching room. What jersey are you asking me to get?
Michael Jordan UNC jersey.
All right. Very specific. I like it. Michael Jordan UNC jersey. That's going to be up in his man cave. Any questions, Dennis?
No questions.
Perfect. We'll go to Tom and Clayton. Tom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Same question to you. Inspired by us having given away a signed Xavier Legette jersey, if, and I don't know if you do or not, but for the assume you do for the question, in your sports watching room, your bar room, your man cave, whatever you call it, if I told you I can get you any player's jersey from any team in any era and it would be signed and you can hang it up in your sports watching room, what player are you asking me to get?
Alex Ovechkin.
Ovechkin, all right. Any specific jersey or era of jersey?
Not any specific era.
Okay. All right. An Ovechkin signed jersey. That's where you're rolling with. Dennis?
Yes.
All right. Perfect. Thank you very much, Tom. Dennis, your options are MJ, North Carolina Tar Heels jersey, or Ovechkin, any old jersey. Doesn't matter on the era.
This is actually a relatively easy one. I'm going to go with Michael Jordan on this one. I'm definitely not going to choose the Washington Capitals, being a Canes fan.
I had a feeling that was going to be the case, but I wanted to give you a chance to make the point.
And honestly, when you asked the question, one that popped into my head was actually maybe like a number 45 Chicago Bulls Jordan jersey side. I think that'd just be kind of unique. So yeah, so anyway, I thought Michael Jordan instantly in my head, and so yeah, so I'm gonna go with Tyler and Durham on this one.
I'm not 100% certain on this, but as you said it, I had a flashback. I think my cousin might have a signed 45 Jordan jersey.
No way.
My cousin grew up in Chicago, and he went to Michael Jordan's camp every year. And I want to say, again, I probably haven't thought about this since I was like 10 years old. I think each day at the camp, you got to bring one thing for him to sign. That was like the rule. Each day, one thing at the end, you'd all get in line. And I think he brought a 45 jersey. And if I'm wrong on that, then I had a really vivid dream of that like 15, 20 years ago. And it happened. But if I'm going to have to text him after the show. He might have. I wonder what happened to it. I wonder if he's selling it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9. I wonder if he'll give it to his cousin. Here's the deal, everybody. That meant Tyler and Durham gets to go first, correct? By the way, in Durham, picking the Chapel Hill UNC Tar Heels jersey. There's a different beast. Tyler, you get to go first. Tom, don't worry, you'll have your chance. Just get to stay on hold for a second there. Tyler, you ready to pick a category?
I am.
All right, the categories are NFL players with early October birthdays, NFL players that were all at some time or another Sam Darnold's teammates in the NFL. NBA, the common denominator, they were born. I think that didn't get finished. I think it's probably they were born in mid-September. There you go. All right. The category we're rolling
Early
with.
October birthdays.
Early October birthdays for the NBA?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
born in September is the NBA one. My apologies.
Okay, there you go. I'm going to start over. Here are your categories for you. NFL players with early October birthdays, NFL players that were all at one point or another Sam Darnold's teammates, NBA players that were born in mid-September, or NHL hurricanes throughout history. Those are your 4 categories. Which would you like to play?
The Sam Darnold one.
Okay. Sam Darnold teammates. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers.
2.
Correct. Jalen Naylor, Minnesota Vikings.
19.
Incorrect. Fred Warner, San Francisco 49ers.
54.
Correct. Ernest Jones, Seattle Seahawks.
Pass.
Bilal Powell, New York Jets.
70.
Incorrect. Jalen Naylor, Minnesota Vikings.
11.
Incorrect. Ernest Jones, Seattle Seahawks.
25.
Incorrect. Bilal Powell, New York Jets.
50.
Incorrect. Jalen Naylor, Minnesota Vikings.
3.
Incorrect. Ernest Jones. You got 2. You got 2. And I will say the other 3, not the easiest. Although Bilal Powell being one of his teammates just shows Sam Darnold's older than you think. Powell, I feel like he's been out of the league for a while. You got DJ Moore with number 2. We would have also accepted 12. He wore both. Jalen Naylor, we would have accepted 1 or 83. Fred Warner, you got 54. We would have also accepted 48. He wore both. A lot of multiple jerseys here. Ernest Jones with Seattle, 13 is what we were looking for. And Powell with the Jets, number 29. Those were the ones we didn't get. But you got 2. Solid number. Stay on hold. We'll see if it holds up, all right?
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. That brings us to our Alex Ovechkin fan, Tom Clayton. Tom in Clayton. Tom, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. Here are the categories remaining for you to choose from. NFL players with early October birthdays, NBA players that were born in mid-September, or NHL hurricanes throughout history.
NFL early October birthdays.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. You do need at least 3 for the victory. Any questions before we get started?
No.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars.
16.
Correct. Mike Singletary, Chicago Bears.
50.
Correct. Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers.
11.
Incorrect. Rashawn Salam, Chicago Bears.
31.
Correct. Laviska Shenault Jr., Carolina Panthers.
5.
Correct. Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers.
18.
Incorrect. Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers.
81.
Correct. Perfect score.
Yes!
Yes! That was a good scream. I like that one.
26 seconds.
26 seconds. Not our fastest, but a perfect score nonetheless. Well played, Tom and Clayton.
Thank you.
I like
and
that.
The reason I'm an Ovechkin fan is I'm originally from the D.C. area, but since I moved here 12 years ago, I'm also a huge Caniac.
That I will give you this. That is a difficult double-double to pull off.
It really is.
That is not the easiest, but nonetheless, I'm impressed by your numbers game ability. The way you worked your way through Mike Williams, because you started a little off, you went with 18, which he has worn in 2 other places, and came all the way back to 81. That is a well-executed numbers game round. Congratulations. You get the SAS Championship tickets with the Mellow Mushroom Chill Club and everything that comes with it. So stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he's looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Quite the pull with Laviska Shenault as well, by the way.
Oh, by the way, they're Laviska Shenault. We would have accepted 5 or 15.
Yes,
just for those of you playing at home. No, that wasn't an easy run at all. Rashawn Salam, that's not an easy run at all, and he did well. Also, we gave Sam Darnold the teammate treatment. Traditionally, our categories when they're teammates of a player, it's like an MVP or a 5-time Pro Bowl running back or something. We gave Sam Darnold his own category. Shout out to Sammy Dar. Perfect score. It just raises the energy in the room. Perfect score. Let's go. It's big time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Seriously, though, congratulations. Everybody that gets a perfect score is pretty impressive. We're going to take a break. When we come back, let's take a look towards NC State versus Campbell. What could State accomplish against Campbell this weekend? Stick around to find out.
Adam.
I'm Adam Gold, and I'm there.
Tim.
I'm Tim Donnelly, and I'm there.
Dennis.
I'm Dennis Cox, and I'm there.
Victoria.
I'm Victoria Bodenecker, and I'm there.
Paul.
I'm Paul Eihander, and I'm there too.
You'll find them all here on the brand new 99.9 The Fan app. To work, to school, the beach, the mountains, the arena, take The Fan with you wherever you go. Available for Apple iPhone and Android phones. Download the 99.9 The Fan app today. Powered by Aspire Money Management.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. With the Federal Reserve cutting rates, the most frequent question we get is, do I wait for rates to go lower, or should I take the savings and just act now? At Miller Lending, we toss all the timing questions aside with our popular no-cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates and refinance again as rates fall. With many economists predicting rates in the 5s next year, why pay upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in closing costs just to get a rate you may get for no cost next spring? Imagine the freedom to use that money for more important things than reducing your payment by the extra $50. Recently, we've noticed a trend of related party transactions as some of the nation's largest lenders have bought real estate or mortgage lead sites, driving closing costs even higher. Please don't throw away all that cash or equity when all you wanted was a lower payment. Call Miller Lending and see why a no-cost loan is the right loan for you. 919-447-3377, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
At Howard Hanna Allen Tate Real Estate, you'll find the same family-owned real estate company you've trusted since 1957. But now they're bigger, better, brighter. They have more agents and more resources, which means more exposure to sell your home. Their proven expertise and innovative tools will help you find the right home around the corner or across the globe. And they invest in our local communities. Their promise to you is a homeownership experience that is different from all others. Visit howardhannatate.com to get started.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Smothers is back. Back in now. 3rd and goal from the 4. Smothers to the right of Bailey. 4 targets to work with. Snap back. It's an all-out blitz. Locks it over the middle. Touchdown. Joe Lee's 2nd touchdown haul of the game. PAT could tie it at 6:22 to play in the 3rd quarter.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. I will be out this Sunday at the Carolina Ale House in Cary, watching Panthers football with everybody and all of the other games that are going on, but we know what we're focused on. All season long for all things sports with as many TVs as you need. You can go to Carolina Ale Houses around the area and try some Buffalo Zinger mac and cheese or some black and blue pub chips or any of the other awesome offerings. And if you are at the Carolina Ale House in Cary during the, I would say particularly the early part of the Panthers game, I might just walk up and drop a little gift card on your table or have a conversation with you. And if you make a good point, I might just give you a little gift card, maybe a little appy, maybe a little dessert, right? Maybe throw you a little bit off your bill. I get to walk around and be like a little like a leprechaun of awesome game food.
Like Paul, like a Santa Claus over here.
Yeah, kind of like a Panthers game Santa Claus. hopefully we have a lot to celebrate.
Well, they need it.
Yeah, there you go. Either way, actually, speaking of Christmas, if you need a stocking stuffer, Carolina Ale House gift card.
Oh, there you go.
Ask your server when you're there, and their team can get you squared away. Some awesome options there. That's this weekend. I'll be out there. I'll have some giveaways. I'll have some swag, some merch to give away, and I'm looking forward to seeing whichever of you are out there talking some Panthers. Right now, another great spot to watch the game if you're watching college this weekend. NC State hosting Campbell. I want to get ahead of this, okay? This is why, usually for us to dive into the nitty-gritty previewing a game that's over the weekend on a Thursday, there's something that I want to get ahead of, right? There's something that it's like, well, we could wait, but I want to start the conversation tomorrow with certain things already on the record, certain things already with receipts. So, State versus Campbell, I want to be clear. I don't think there's anything State can do against Campbell that would dramatically change the way I think about this team, meaning State, following the Virginia Tech loss and the Duke loss previous. That's not to say that it's a pointless game or you don't take it seriously. No, you go out there, what you hope happens if you're State is your players take out all of their frustration on Campbell. And it's obvious, and it's over early, and you cruise to a win, and your backups can get some reps. That's what you hope happens. But even if all of that does happen, if C.J. Bailey has his rib protector unstrapped and his helmet resting on the bench by halfway through the third quarter, that doesn't answer the questions I have about this team. Right? So and I'm not even saying all of this to disrespect Campbell. It's the simple nature of a power conference opponent against an FCS opponent. And I played FCS football, so I'm in defense of. I am a proponent of FCS football, but when you're going into a power conference game, you know what it is, right? Your team's getting paid a bunch of money, and you need a lot of things to go your way for you to have a chance. If you are NC State, you're going into this game with an understanding that whatever value you get out of this game will not show itself this week. It'll show itself against Notre Dame next week or after your bye when you're taking on 3 of 4 games against ranked opponents. Or that is when you can prove that you've learned something and your young guys are resilient in a way that they weren't against Virginia Tech. We talked about it earlier, but there's a new edition of the Pack Therapy podcast, new episode that came out yesterday. It's a podcast I co-host with Mike Glennon, NC State legendary quarterback. And we started talking about, where the Virginia Tech game went wrong. And there's the, lack of juice, whatever you want to call it. But then, Mike honed in pretty quickly on the defensive front of Virginia Tech was pushing around NC State at the line of scrimmage, right? Which is one of those things that like Dave Doran, what we know about his personality. He doesn't like getting pushed around. I'm sure it's gnawing away at him, right? It's the pebble in his shoe that turned into a boulder. Like Virginia Tech's defensive front was pushing around NC State's offensive front. Those are the type of things that just can't be answered against an FCS opponent. If NC State's offensive line goes out there and just bullies the heck out of Campbell, and Hollywood Smothers is running through holes in the line of scrimmage that you could drive a bus through, I'm not going to turn around and go, oh, they've got it figured out, which is a kind of an empty place to be. If you're right, it's like no matter how good you do here, none of it proves anything to me is a really weird place to be as a team. So it's about the future. It's about taking your frustration out. It's about being a better team when you have the opportunity against better opponents. Because if I'm being real, and I always try to be real, try to keep it real. When keeping it real goes wrong, shout out to the Spell Show. There's a lot of opponents that I think are significantly better than Virginia Tech remaining on NC State's schedule. Right? So losing to Virginia Tech doesn't bode well for playing against Georgia Tech. Doesn't bode well for playing against Miami or Notre Dame or Florida State. All of these ranked opponents that are still remaining on their schedule. That's where you can prove something to me. So like tomorrow, we're gonna jump in and we're gonna talk C.J. Bailey, and we're going to talk Smothers. We're going to talk Noah Rogers, and we're going to talk about all these guys that are talented. Terrell Anderson's really popping. On the defensive side, looks like Sean Brown won't be playing in the game. How do they make up for that? One of their leading tacklers. I'm a big fan of the 2 transfers, including Harsh and what's Kean's last name? Why am I blanking on that? Goodness gracious, Sloan? Is it Sloan? That's not it. I'm going to have to figure this out, or it's going to rattle around in my brain for the rest of time. 1 second. Yeah, Kean Sloan.
Yeah, Kean Sloan. Okay, I was like, wait, I thought you're saying Keenan Jackson. I was like, wait, you're talking the defense.
I had a weird, did I leave the oven on moment where it's like, I haven't used the oven in a week, but I need to go back inside to make sure it's turned off. My point is this. There is football to talk about when it goes into State Campbell. And you're preventing disaster by allowing Campbell to stay in, right? Because that's when the alarms go from level 2 to level 10. But it's a really difficult place to be in that if you destroy them in every facet of the game, that's what you're supposed to do. In a weird way, when logic would say after you have a tough game or a rough game, you want to get a get-back game, sometimes you want another big old trophy fish at your disposal because that's what can really change your season. Right? If you suffer a bad loss and then you have cupcakes for the next couple of weeks, that doesn't give you the opportunity to really turn your season around. So that's the struggle here. That's what State is up against. You have to play well or else it's a catastrophe. And if you do play well, it means very little. It's hard to really get up for that game, right? So maybe that's what I'm looking for. Maybe I just talked myself into something that State can do. They have to be ridiculously internally motivated in this game because the outside motivation might not be there. Might, or more importantly, probably won't be there. And then here's the other conversation that I think we can have.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to ask you this, Dennis.
Go on.
As a former coach.
Okay.
I never did the coaching thing, at least not of any significant level. When you're playing a super overmatched opponent, and we do this debate a little bit on the pod, so check out the podcast everywhere. Podcast can be found, Pack Therapy. Is there something that would make you kind of choose to highlight an individual? Meaning, hopefully, you go out there, you run your first couple of drives with best offense wins. If you realize this is one of those days where we're scoring a lot of points and we can kind of direct it a little bit. If you're the offensive coordinator, do you make sure Noah Rogers gets going because he hasn't been featured a ton as a pass catcher and he's one of your more high-profile talented players? Do you get Teddy Hoffman going because he had a big day that first game and it's been quiet since then? Like, do you pay attention to your players and recognize this might be an opportunity for us to guarantee a big game for Justin Jolie or somebody?
I use it in the context of when I coach, again, lacrosse is a little bit different. I want to make sure that we're comfortable before we start going down that route.
100%.
Now, I have the intentions, absolutely, where I might tell so-and-so during a game, like, hey, let's run this or let's go for this look. Let's try and get this person involved, not just early on in the game, but often in the game. But you want to make sure that you have a comfortable lead and that you're doing it in the rhythm of your offense. Because if you get into the force-feeding things, then you actually get away from what makes you in terms of what you want your offense to look like. So as long as it's in the flow, you have to make sure that you get to at least a comfortable lead before you can start going like, all right, let's run this underneath route to get Justin Jolie on a catch and run or whatever. Like, hey, let's intentionally, we're going to call this. I want you throwing it down the sideline to Noah Rogers, on a 5-step drop. As soon as that back foot plants, throw it up there. At least we're throwing the ball in his direction so he sees those looks. So those are all things that you could be intentional about. But again, you have to be.
You have to already know it's the game's in hand.
You can't be doing it when it's 10-7. if that's what you mean.
No, I definitely don't mean that. Like once it's like there's a moment in a game where you look around against a severely overmatched opponent where you look around and go like, all right, we're going to put up some stats in this game. Like we all know it. Let's make sure we execute well, but we're going to put up some stats. That's where traditionally, in my experience, like the backups start getting little hints from their position coach. Like, hey, stay loose out here, right? Like, this isn't a game where second half you can get cold, right? You can put on the hoodie or you can put on the jacket over the top and relax. This is a game where you're probably going to play, so stay loose, do some high knees. Once that starts happening, you can start looking around and going, all right, who do we want to make sure gets a touchdown before we bail? By the way, in the national championship game, my sophomore year, I was backup quarterback. I got that talk from the coach. Hey, you're going to play most of the fourth quarter here. Let's make sure you stay ready. Then we lost. It's always what I think of in those situations. Up 19-0 at half. He's like, hey, man, stay loose. Get really warm here. I'm like, oh, my goodness. He lost 20-19. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is a true flashback moment right there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. But don't worry, we have Overdrive coming up next. We are going to talk a little UNC Clemson. They also play this weekend, and there's some things I wanted on the record before we preview tomorrow. So that'll start off Overdrive. We also have some Panthers conversations coming up. Subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, please. Huh? I used manners. We'll talk to you tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.
We've got NFL tonight on 99.9 The Fan. Presented by Wake Med.
Showtime, prime time.
Your primetime matchup is an NFC battle. It's San Francisco and the LA Rams.
Here we go.
Woo! Pre-game starts at 7:30.
Y'all know what time it is, huh?
Kickoff at 8:15.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
On the Triangle's home for the NFL, 99.9 The Fan.
We came here for one thing, to win.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. In just over 2 months, I've lost nearly 40 pounds at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Those are just real numbers. In just over 2 months, I've lost nearly 40 pounds at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. And one of the things I love about Raleigh Weight Loss Center is not just helping me reach that target goal weight. They want to maintain that goal weight as well. In a recent appointment that I had with Raleigh Weight Loss Center, not only were we discussing the final steps to get those last few pounds off, they started laying out the plan for how to maintain that weight. And they laid out the plan for the long-term goal, which is to keep that weight off. That's what Raleigh Weight Loss Center is there to do. Not just reach the target weight, but help you maintain that long-term. If you have any questions, you have any concerns about Raleigh Weight Loss Center, not sure if the program is right for you, go to RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and schedule your free 15-minute phone call to learn more. Ask all the questions. Give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
I'm glad you agreed to this date, Mr. First Tuesday.
Oh, me too, but I have to admit something. I've never been on a first date.